This podcast is sponsored by Searchlight Pictures presenting The Banshees of Inisherin, one of the best reviewed films of the year, with a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, a Metacritic must-see film, and named one of the top 10 films of the year by the National Board of Review. Now nominated for 9 Critics' Choice Awards, including Best Director Martin McDonagh, Best Actor Colin Farrell, Best Screenplay, and Best Second Picture of the Year, for your consideration in all categories.
Hello, listeners and readers of AwardsWatch.com. This is the AwardsWatch Podcast, episode 164. I'm your executive editor, Ryan McQuade. Joining me today is our editor-in-chief, Erik Anderson.
Good morning.
Sophia Ciminello.
Hello.
Dan Bayer.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And a very special guest, the host of And the Runner-Up Is, the best podcast in the land, Kevin Jacobsen is on the show.
Good morning. Yes.
We're so excited to have Kevin on here today because we're going to be giving our Golden Globe predictions. We might even give a little wink, nudge towards some SAG predictions. And we're going to talk, though, up front about the first 2023 release of the year, which is M3GAN. A movie that has done really well at the box office for itself. It's going to get close to what, like 28 million this weekend, right? Is the
30. I read 30.
Is it 30?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not going to top Avatar. So Avatar still got 45 this weekend. So Big Jim, still Big Jim. But we've all seen M3GAN. And I think if you go and read all the reviews, well, Kevin hasn't seen M3GAN, but
I've basically seen M3GAN through Twitter.
Exactly. But I feel like every year, like last year, it was the Scream sort of reboot, kind of movie that came out at this time, and now it's M3GAN. So Blumhouse really controlling the January market. I'm gonna start real quick and just say I thought this was a lot of fun. For a movie that comes out in January and in the middle of all the Oscar voting and everything, it's kind of refreshing just to see a really stupid, fun movie. It's really stupid, like fucking stupid. And I think that that's okay because it's only like an hour 40 and it doesn't overstay its welcome. And I had a lot of fun. So, Sophia, what did you think of the film?
Yeah, so I am here for the early 2023 release that has a number in the title. So we have M3GAN, we have 65 with Adam Driver coming up, we have 80 for Brady. I love this trend of stupid movies that are coming to the big screen. I really can't wait. But I thought M3GAN was a lot of fun. I saw it at a draft house with a sold out crowd on a Friday night, which I think is like the ideal way to see this movie. And the crowd was really into it. I love that Allison Williams has really sort of found her niche as this specific type of type A scream queen. I love her comedy in this movie. It is sort of the Marnie Michaels extended universe for any listeners who watched Girls.
Yes.
I feel like that was so perfect. And I did relate to her when she was telling the little girl, Katie, to put her cup on a coaster. But yeah, I think overall, like, I would have loved more gore. I think I would have liked a hard R rating on this, but it wasn't something that was like a serious drawback for me. I did still have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and what did you think of it? You were one of the first people in our chat to see it early last week. You weren't like at the premiere a couple weeks ago, but you were one of the first people to see it that we knew.
Yeah, I've freaking loved it. I saw this at a critic screening in New York, which is like one of the first, if not the first, and everyone in that theater was having an absolute blast. And me perhaps especially. I just thought it was so much fun right from the very first frames, basically. Like right when they started with that ridiculous commercial for the perpetual pads, which like of course, and like the entire setup of it, like, oh no, my dog died, what am I gonna do? And it's like, have a Furby. I was just like, and for someone who, like, if you grew up in like late 80s, early 90s, that commercial is so dead on accurate for like it's perfectly one of those commercials. And I was like, well, this is this is perfect. I was so here for it just all the way through.
Yeah.
It never let up. And the thing that really made it work for me is that even though it's ridiculous and stupid and it knows that it's trash, it doesn't skimp on like giving us actual characters and things to care about. Like the relationship between Katie and Gemma, Gemma the Alison Williams character and Katie the young girl, is like really well drawn. And I love that it's kind of like taking the piss out of the elevated horror, like horror is all a referendum on trauma. And like, yeah, it is about trauma, but it's processing that trauma in the most ridiculous way possible through a killer fucking doll.
Mm-hmm.
And I also this movie just compares so well to the last time a movie tried to do killer doll, AI, you know, what are we doing with consumerism and technology? The 2019 Child's Play remake, which is just so bad. This is the Chucky reboot we deserve.
Yeah.
It has all the right elements of camp. It could have used a little more gore, perhaps, but still gets very squishy and, you know, in some spots.
I think what the best thing about this movie is, and I knew I was gonna love this movie. And Dan, I know how much you love this movie, and Sophia, I know how much you love this one too. Was Alexa Cooper, who wrote *Malignant*, and that is a movie that I just love because that is an unapologetic, just like trashy movie, and it's having fun, and it's gory, and it's all over the place. And so this one, when I saw that, and also James Wan, who did the story with her on this one, I kind of was just like, okay, if they're going to do like sort of a stripped down PG-13 kind of crazy, stupid movie like that, I'm kind of there for that too. And I agree with you, Dan, that Child's Play remake is awful. And this is a way better way of doing something like that and getting the point across. But obviously, we've all loved it so far. And knowing Erik, he loves camp. So this has got to be like Erik's like takeaway after Sun from last week. This is his new #1 movie of all time, right, Erik?
Well, you would think so, but no, I was
Here we go.
yeah, no, I know she's gonna come after me in my DMs. I know it.
Not just her, all the gays.
All of them.
all the gays.
The Margot
but-
Martindale lookalike neighbor needs to come
Oh my
after you too.
Yeah,
That dog's coming for you.
exactly. Peeking over that fence, dog shitting in my yard. Yeah, very Margot Martindale meets Aunt Dowd.
Hulu.
No, I did not like it. I didn't like it.
Like at all?
Mostly, yeah. I was mostly
Wow.
bored, and I actually didn't mind that it was PG-13 and low on the gore. That's fine, but it does make you have to work a whole lot harder with like real scares and real tension, and I just didn't feel like it had that. It didn't really have much until M3GAN started her sentience, which was really, really, really long into the movie. They wasted their one fuck on that kid.
You can get away with 2, right? Can't you get away with 2?
It depends on how you
Is it just 1 now?
It depends on how you use it. You can say fuck you once, You
Okay.
can say like fucking twice.
Oh, okay.
It's all context.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they give it away right there. And I think M3GAN would have been much funnier to say it at some point.
Yeah, like right at the end.
As an increasing, like, okay, she's really like off the fucking chain here.
Yeah.
But the girl that plays her, Amy Donald, was wonderful. Just her physicality was fantastic. I thought she was maybe the best part. But I do love Allison Williams, and I want to see her just kind of keep doing this over and over because I really did love her. But yeah, I was honestly bored. The opening, like Dan said, with the fake commercial was great, and it was setting up. I was like, okay, cool. This is fun. I know where they're going with it. And it had moments that were like off kilter.
Yeah.
Like the cop. The cop.
Oh, yeah.
So funny. Just
calm down, lady.
She's like, oh, sorry about that.
No, the cop when he's just
funny.
like, didn't I tell you to? What are you doing? Like when he goes like that, when like the woman goes crazy, the neighbor goes crazy.
That was funny, and that's kind of where I thought it was going to be at, with a little more not satire, but yeah, like camp and weird, and it wasn't that weird. I was hoping for a little more from Brian Alvarez, who I love as a really funny actor. And, I thought we were going to be digging into like some 90s tropes of like gay best friends getting killed and just weird kind of stuff like that. And lots of throwbacks that would be problematic, but still funny. And it was just too safe, honestly.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was more like a victim of your expectations than like the movie itself actually being, bad or something.
That's a huge part of it. This is a movie that was so beautifully marketed and so funny.
Oh my God, it was.
The memes, the dancing memes took over so like completely that it made these sequences feel like they were much bigger and longer than they actually were. Because in the movie, they're very brief and they don't have the tone and they don't have the music behind it, so it feels completely different. So it's without that, yeah, I think expectations might have been different. And then the big song moment,
oh my god
lasted like 5 seconds, and I honestly thought, since I had heard about it before I saw it, I thought it was going to be a whole like song and dance number, just like stuck right in the middle, and had been like, yeah. And it wasn't. That was super disappointing.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. It's a shame you can't appreciate art. But that's okay.
Maybe the sequel.
Well, I think that's the thing about like maybe the sequel going forward is usually in horror franchises, they get more ridiculous as the sequels go on. So if this is the starting point, right, for whatever, because they've already announced that they're going to start making a sequel because it made like its budget and then some this weekend already. I can only imagine what the sequel is going to be. And it kind of sets the layers for it in the film already up to like how we're going to see M3GAN return. But I thought it was just big dumb fun. And I kind of need that in January because we're like we're going to be doing here in a second, we're going to be talking about the Oscars and we're trying to like, get into Sundance and, South by will be around the corner too, in Berlin and all these different festivals. And it's nice to just kind of like Sophia was kind of saying earlier, there's going to be like 80 for Brady in a couple of weeks. And it's just like these big, stupid movies that just like, they're just fun, and I get that, Eric, because of the fact that I felt that going into it because this movie is like what 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. People have gone like,
yeah, it was a 94 after the embargo drop.
It's like insane for a movie like this. You're like, wow, okay, it's coming for Best Picture next year. But it was like, what is this movie going to be? And I didn't see it with a packed crowd. I saw it like Thursday, one of the Thursday screenings at like 5, so it wasn't before like all the packed crowds and everything. And my audience still had a lot of fun with it. They were just laughing at the right moments. I thought the action was good enough for what it's supposed to be, but like it's a good foundational layer, I think, for what is to come. And
especially for like a first week of January release.
If this is how the year's starting, holy shit.
This is abnormally good.
Yeah, look out, Barbie.
The audience was kind of placid.
Oh,
I thought
maybe they were going hot out there.
I thought they were gonna be like super into it, and I had pre-gamed considerably.
Oh, I was gonna.
So I was like ready to be rowdy. And
wait, hold on. Did you see this in the Castro?
No.
See, that was your mistake.
No.
Yeah.
Girl, I was not going to drive that far in the rain.
I don't.
In the
I don't
rain.
No, man.
But we all want to see a sequel to this, right? Clearly.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to a sequel.
Where are they going to put the 4?
The
Where are
A.
they going to put the 4? At the A? Yeah. Okay.
Or it's just going to be like M3GAN V 2.0 or something.
Too fast, too M3GAN. Something like
Or
that.
if it's like a different name, like a M3GAN's sister doll or something like that with a 4 in the
The
name.
knockoff M3GAN.
Yeah.
Just Meg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just
Like
Meg.
Yeah.
This was meh.
Man. I said that they like I said that they could add like the 4 just in there already, like you just and like change the E to then a 4, you know what I mean? And then it's like how you spell M3GAN with an H instead. But you know, we'll see.
Cream.
5 cream. Yeah, there you go. It's so stupid how that next scream is going to be just scream.
I can't.
Stupid.
Don't.
So
I can't.
stupid. You should have just gone with 5 cream. Would have been better. All right. That's M3GAN. We got a review up on the website. Kevin wrote it. Hell of a title.
Not this Kevin, to be clear.
Not this Kevin. Kevin Lee wrote
Different
it.
Kevin.
Different Kevin. We're going to transition over to Golden Globes because they're going to be next Tuesday. By the time you're listening to it, it'll be tomorrow. And I'm actually curious from Kevin's perspective because Kevin, you don't get to talk a lot about the current Oscar year so far, but I've been watching your letterbox extensively over the last like couple of weeks. And I just see you just logging all these like 2022 kind of doing the catch up like all of us. So I'm just kind of curious what you think of the race so far and what some of your favorite films from 2022 and that are in the race are.
Okay. Well, I will say that I am personally just very thrilled to see the run of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is just one of those movies that, you know, I saw whenever that came out. I don't even remember what month, but earlier in the year, and never really thinking that it could actually become what it's become. And I feel like at this point, the discourse has sort of morphed it into something that I'm not loving at the moment in terms of just making it into this big horse race as we do every year. And certain movies just struggle to sort of live up to people's expectations once they finally do see a movie like that and they're like, what the hell am I watching? That sort of thing. For me, that was just like a fun discovery, and I've been just kind of thrilled to see that go as far as it has for as unusual as it is. Big fan of Tar, as most people on this chat are as well. So it's been really interesting also to just watch this sort of best actress sort of clash of the titans, I almost want to say, between Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett.
Like perfect for you and what you're doing on the show. Yeah.
It really is. And I said this on Twitter the other day. I would be happy if we had another tie. I think we're due for another tie in Best Actress, and this should be the 2. And I think they would both celebrate that as well, because they have such respect for each other. But yeah, it's been just in terms of the temperature of just sort of the headlines of this year. It feels like it's like return to movies, you know, Top Gun, of course, Avatar, these big blockbusters that I feel like the past few years of the Oscars have certainly gotten away from that for natural reasons. But now it feels like, are we going to get this big sort of celebration of big cinema again? And are we going to have it be some kind of clash of, you know, the big blockbuster Top Gun Maverick versus the big indie blockbuster, I would say, Everything Everywhere All at Once? I think that could be very interesting. So yeah, I think this has been a really fun year with a kind of diverse group of films that I've been loving, and some did not live up to expectations for me, unfortunately. Which you may look at my logs to see exactly what I'm talking about there.
He doesn't want to say
Ryan has diligently recorded all of my ratings.
Yes. I got him on a big board over here.
Yes.
Actually.
Sounds like blackmail to me.
So
shut up, Erik.
Yes.
I will release the list.
I will release what you gave 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I mean,
or even less. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, not everything always has to connect with us. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, we've been devoid, I think, for a long time of the big budget studio movie, versus the indie. It feels like it's been like since Avatar in the Hurt Locker, that year that we had a kind of a big David and Goliath sort of story. But then there's also like, something like Banshees of Inisherin that's kind of sitting right there as well. Obviously the Fablemans, though, I mean, it had a really rough week with the BAFTA shortlists. And every film seems to have gotten a little bit hit along the way, everything on the Oscar shortlist, Cameron missing also as well on the BAFTA shortlist. There's been a lot of just weird things, but that's the beauty of an award show, I guess, is that momentum can change, even though the Golden Globes don't have any, Oscar voters inside their voting body. They still are on a nationally televised event. The first one of the only ones that we keep mentioning because SAG doesn't have anything. BAFTA's on a tape delay. And so it's in Critics' Choices on like right after they're selling knives on QVC, basically, so there's all these different things. Well, I'm just saying the truth. So in a sense, yeah, I know, but I mean, the CW, really? Okay, after
CW has had some great shows.
Yeah.
After like Riverdale,
and
Sabrina,
they've had a deal with CW for a long time.
I know, but it's like try to maybe get the TNT deal. I don't know, maybe. But anyway, Golden Globes, they're back. Gerard Carmichael is hosting. Obviously, they were not on last year, a televised event because of their controversy. They had the greatest person ever doing their Twitter updates. So hopefully that person's back again this year too. Hopefully they didn't get promoted. But yes, so we're going to get into the predictions right now. We're going to start off in the television section. We're going to start with Best Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Television Film. And the nominees are Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus, Claire Danes for Fleischman and Trouble. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed. Daisy Edgar-Jones for Under the Banner of Heaven, Niecy Nash for Dahmer, and Aubrey Plaza for The White Lotus. So, Kevin, since you're our guest, we'll start with you. Who do you have winning this category?
Well, I will just say the supporting actress in a TV category often trips me up. Like usually the person I have at number 4 ends up winning. So I don't want to say this with confidence, but it feels like this is probably Jennifer Coolidge, right? Yeah. She had a very big season. She also didn't win for the first season. So this would be her first time winning, I think. Feels like a no-brainer, but I'm also like, it's the Golden Globes. Could just be Claire Danes. They love her. So
for a show that I guess exists. I mean, like
people are talking about Fleischman's in Trouble. It's very
popular show.
I had never heard about it until I just read that name. I was like, "Oh, what's Claire Danes in for?" And it's like, "What?"
The marketing is all over New York City, but it also takes place in New York City. So
that makes sense. Okay.
Very New York City show.
And that's the great thing too. I forgot to mention this about like the Golden Globes, is since they have like a expansion of their voters now. Will they be their sort of normal Globesy random weirdness or like that we've seen in the past, or are they going to do new things? And so it could be a whole new ball game. We could be talking about the winners next week and then be the same old Golden Globes doing the same old silly things, or they go for more, safe conventional picks. But Coolidge is a good one. Like Kevin mentioned, she didn't win last time. So Erik, how do you see it playing out?
Well, it should be added too that this is a new category because The supporting category was comedy, drama, and movie. So you would have all
Thank
of
God.
these performances, very apples to oranges type of performances competing against each other. So limited series and TV movie is separate from comedy drama now. So they're getting there. I mean, you're still having like Elizabeth Debicki compete against Janelle James. So that's weird, but it's funny.
As
Cool.
it should be, right?
I don't hate it. I think it's kind of great, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, this should be Jennifer Coolidge, and because of the timelines and that the Globes use calendar years and Emmys use their archaic Emmy
Year.
calendar,
Yeah.
the timing was like she lost the Globe first, then won the Emmy, and now she's nominated for the Globe for the new season, which won't be till the next Emmy. So it's the cycle is weird. But yeah, she has momentum in a way that you can't usually get because of the calendar year weirdness.
She also just is that show, to be honest. Sophia?
Yeah, I have Jennifer Coolidge also, just because I'm playing it safe. But if I'm feeling a certain way tomorrow, I might switch to Claire Danes. I am just feeling like this could be the place where something weird happens. I have a couple of other categories where I did make riskier picks, but I was too chicken to do it today. But I do have her at number 2 as the spoiler right now.
All right. Dan, do you have Jennifer Coolidge?
I do have Jennifer Coolidge. Like it's interesting because, like you were saying before, the organization is larger now. They've expanded their membership ranks, and kind of like I've been doing with Ampus and the Oscars since they've been undergoing their membership overhaul. I'm kind of like, until proven otherwise, I'm assuming that you have the same identity as an organization. So this year is kind of like, the test run. Like if they do less traditional quote unquote Golden Globes-y things, I'm thinking they're still the Golden Globes and they're going to be ridiculous. So like I could see Claire Danes. I could also see Aubrey Plaza. Frankly, she fits that sort of like pretty young thing that they like to do a lot, like minting new stars. That's the Globe's favorite thing to do ever. Yeah. And I could see that happening, but like it's Jennifer Coolidge.
It's also too, I think that they think about the speech sometimes too when they vote. Like the moment, getting a Globe moment. And Jennifer Coolidge giving a speech is like Olivia Colman giving a speech. You want to see that. You know what I mean?
Plaza would give a great speech, though.
Plaza would also give a great freaking speech. Yeah.
Niecy Nash, I think, would give a great speech, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Niecy Nash too. Yeah.
Yeah. Daisy Edgar Jones would just be like, yeah, that was really
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Like, I'm not Claire Foy.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to take this home where the crawdads sing.
Oh my God. Here it
Lord.
is. All right. Okay.
Roasting of Daisy Edgar Jones.
Yeah.
Whom I loved in Normal People.
Yeah, no.
Let it be said.
And in Under the Banner of Heaven. I love this.
She was really good in that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Coolidge too. I think this is a pretty easy one, actually. So moving on from that one, supporting actor, limited in our anthology series, we have F. Murray Abraham for The White Lotus. We have Domhnall Gleeson for The Patient, Paul Walter Hauser for Blackbird, Richard Jenkins for Dahmer, and Seth Rogen for Pam and Tommy. Erik, I'll start with you on this one. What do you have?
I'm going Paul Walter Hauser for Blackbird here, with F. Murray Abraham as the spoiler. I don't see the other three as competitive in the same way as those two.
All right. Sophia?
I have the exact same answer. I think it's pretty easily Paul Walter Hauser's here for Blackbird. Just watching that show, like he gives a performance that I think will really stick with voters. But F. Murray Abraham is a person who, the first episode of White Lotus, I turned to my friend and said, I will not be surprised if he wins an Emmy just right away. So I could see that too, but I have Paul Walter Hauser.
Dan?
I feel like I'm at a bit of a disadvantage with this category because I have seen like mostly none of these shows. So I was sort of just going on like in name recognition and the bare minimum of what I know about these projects. And for some random reason, I have decided to say I think Domhnall Gleeson will win. I mean, both he and his father are nominated tonight. His father for the most nominated movie in Globe's history. And what a moment that would be if you have father and son winning his and his Golden Globes on the same night.
Yeah. All right, Kevin.
Did not think of that. I do think, the Globes do love their Nepo babies.
Yeah,
So,
there it is. There it is.
not the first time that'll come up here. Not the last time, I should say. Yeah,
they have a whole
Hauser.
thing with
They do.
literal Nepo babies where somebody's like Mr. Golden Globes.
Yeah. So that is definitely worth considering. But I do have Paul Walter Hauser. I have not seen Blackbird. I hear he plays a serial killer. Imagining Paul Walter Hauser as a serial killer seems pretty
not a far stretch.
Not
a far stretch. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say that, but I can picture what that is, and I can see that being very impressive.
It's a very easy picture to paint, right, Kevin?
Oh,
maybe.
God.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's true though.
I mean, I am with Dan. I am going with Domhnall Gleeson. Yes, I feel like that show, like nobody's seen it, but like him and Steve Carell, from what I can gather, I mean, like Domhnall Gleeson's playing basically almost a serial killer in that show as well. Also feels like too, like he's been in so many great projects over the last couple of years. At a certain point, he's going to get some sort of a recognition. I feel, because, like I said, he's working with a lot of people, and this category is very up in the air. Like F. Murray Abraham, yes, he could totally win this, but also like, there's not like an urgency, I guess, so, and also too, sometimes when you win an Emmy, you don't necessarily win the Globe. Sometimes the Globe is a popular choice. I don't think Seth Rogen's going to win this thing at all. Jenkins would be interesting if he won, but I doubt it. And I'm actually like not sold on the idea of like them wanting to award Paul Walter Hauser. I don't know. Like if they're going to award somebody for that show, I would feel it would be more like Taron than it would be him. But I've only seen like an episode or two, so I'm just gonna go on a whim and go with the Nepo baby. I'm gonna go with Domhnall Gleeson. So
it is strange because he's the only nominee from that show, and all the other ones have nominations across.
Sets him apart,
like all the categories. And it could be his like Mozart in the Jungle, where it's like, what is that? It's a Globe winner. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Put that all over the marketing material. All right. Let's go best supporting performance in a television series, musical, comedy, or drama. We have in supporting actress, we have Elizabeth Debicki, The Crown, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Julia Garner for Ozark, Janelle James, and Sheryl Lee Ralph for Abbott Elementary. Sophia, we will start with you on this one.
Yeah, so the way that these supporting categories work, it's interesting to me, even with the rule change, and it does feel challenging for comedy to beat drama here. So I was very tempted to go with Elizabeth Debicki, but I'm going with Sheryl Lee Ralph for Abbott Elementary because, like you were saying with the speeches earlier, I feel like that speech that she gave was so just inspirational and just out of this world, really connecting with people. And I feel like they might remember that and want her back on that stage. It's also just a great performance in a show that I think they'll like. And so that's why I have her here.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. I'm going with her as well in this category. I just think that I feel as if like The Crown is vulnerable because of the controversy, and the season wasn't as well received as the last one because it's kind of hard to match up to that season 4 and how fantastic it was, and that the buzz for that show kind of came and went as those reviews went too. So I think that's a good place to also reward Abbott as well. Dan, how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, this could very easily be Elizabeth Debicki. She hits a lot of hallmarks of a Globe winner, but it's very hard to know how they're going to react to this particular season of The Crown when it was so like it did have a lower, favorability rating than the previous seasons, and it definitely feels like a how long can they really keep awarding this one show sort of thing, especially
Yeah.
the Globes, which they like to switch it up.
Mhm.
So I'm tentatively going with actually Janelle James from Abbott Elementary, partially because of the whole they like to make stars, and Janelle James is a force of nature on that show. You think of the funniest moments of that show, and it's her you're thinking about usually, especially in comparison to Cheryl Lee Ralph. And I love Cheryl Lee Ralph, and I love her in this show. But other than Quinta Brunson, Janelle James is the star of this show, frankly, and it's the biggest scene stealing part. I feel like she's slightly more likely than Cheryl.
Kevin?
I have Cheryl Lee Ralph pretty much for the reasons Sophia said. It's the speech factor. I think they're going to want another big moment like that. And the thing with the Globes, I think, is with TV, they kind of like to think in pairs. And that's why when I sort of am assembling my predictions here, I try to find a series pair with an actor winning. And to spoil my thoughts on the other races, I don't have Abbott winning any of the other acting races. So that is why I have a very natural pair there. But yes, Elizabeth Debicki, I really think is a possibility here. If anyone from The Crown season 5 deserves this, as much as anyone deserves a Golden Globe, I don't know, but it's her.
Does anyone really deserve a Golden Globe these days?
Right. Yeah, they've got Tom Cruise just waiting in the wings.
Isadora, always.
Always be Isadora.
Yeah.
Erik?
I'm on the same wavelength as Kevin with the idea, but different people and different shows. But I'm on the same kind of needing to pair things, but mine are not. Mine are different than that. I am going with Elizabeth Debicki here, and Janelle James is probably my
spoiler.
Julie Garner's never won here. She has 3 Emmys and she's never won.
I didn't think about that.
Which is weird. She's only been nominated twice.
Which is crazy.
She's double nominated here, like she was at the Emmys.
You would think,
but also too, she's that show came out 6 years ago. Like the final season.
Well, that's also the thing too, looking at Abbott Elementary, is that because of the calendar year, you have the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2, and in between was the Emmys, and all of that covers the timeline for the Globe. So they could be Abbott's running right now, the second season. So if they want to go for Janelle James or Cheryl Lee Ralph, it'll be for what is going on right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Ted Lasso sort of thing with the Emmys, is that season 2 dropped right at season 1 sort of thing, and it kind of helps.
It always helps. It always helps. Yeah, I'm going with Debicki.
Okay. All right. Let's do supporting actor, musical or comedy. John Lithgow, The Old Man. Jonathan Pryce, The Crown. John Turturro, basically, if your name is John, for Severance. Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary, and Henry Winkler for Barry. Dan, we'll start with you.
Oh no, don't start with me.
It was your turn. Everybody's gone. Everyone started this thing.
I hate this category. There's part of me that there's part of me that wants to say Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary, for a few reasons. It's a very memorable performance. He's young but not a newcomer, and also I don't know, the other one that seems likely to me is Turturro for Severance, but is he the standout of that cast? Is that the person from that cast that you're going to award? I don't know. So I'm very caught between the two of those. I'm leaning more at the moment. I'm leaning more towards Totoro because it feels like they're not going to award the entire cast of Abbott Elementary. But I don't know. Help me figure it out.
Kevin, help him figure it out. What do you got?
Well, I don't know how much help I'm going to be because
Okay. Great job, Kevin.
I am predicting John Lithgow for the old man. So yeah, even though it doesn't have a series nomination here, they clearly like it. Jeff Bridges is also nominated. They seem to love John Lithgow in general, and
yeah, they do.
He's a kind of legacy star, I think, that they tend to prefer. They either like new people or just like people who have been around for a while.
Favorites.
It's hard
or
for the
Meryl
people in
Streep.
between.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. Right. So yeah, it's just one of those things that when I saw this group, it felt like the thing that stuck out to me. This is another show I haven't watched yet. So, you know, I can't speak to his performance per se. The John Turturro thing is interesting because I think, you know, if a Severance wins drama series, for example, that would be an easy pair there.
Mhm.
But that performance, I think, is so brilliant, but it's subtle.
Yeah.
It's a little too subtle for the Globes specifically. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm struggling there. And I can't really see the other three winning, unfortunately. So that's why I'm stuck with John Lithgow.
Erik, The Old Man's your favorite show. Autobiographical, obviously.
Listen, I've seen it. I think it's actually a great show.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges is fucking outstanding in it. And John Lithgow's really, really good. So I could absolutely see him winning. Everybody's really good in this category in their shows, except for maybe Jonathan Pryce, who's pretty boring.
He's got that horse riding, episode, right?
He's
build that carriage.
Yeah, he's pretty dull as dishwater.
Mostly that character is,
and they don't like Barry. They don't give it wins.
It's just crap.
Tyler James Williams stands so far outside of this group. It's so hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like, what, 30, and everybody else average age is.
Isn't he a previous nominee for Everybody Hates Chris way back when? Didn't he get nominated for that, if I'm not mistaken?
I would have to look, but it makes perfect sense.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
They would do that. But I am going with John Turturro, even though you're right.
Nope, I'm wrong. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a subtle type of performance that doesn't always grab Globes voters, but I feel like it's
I think the series was nominated, but not him.
Maybe that's what it was.
That makes sense. Okay.
I would love Williams to win. He would be probably my favorite.
So you're going with who? So you're going with who?
I'm going with Turturro.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was the other thing for me too, is like there are no other real pure comedy stuff in this category. So it feels like Tyler James Williams could he could be like everyone else is sort of off in their drama land, and everyone's like, oh, I like this one, but I like this one. And Tyler James Williams just comes right up the middle. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Barry's not really a comedy.
Yeah, it is in the comedy category, but it's barely. It is the darkest comedy you can imagine.
Yeah, that finale is not even. There's not a joke in it. Sophia,
so good.
So I am with Kevin on this one. I picked John Lithgow for The Old Man. I also have not seen the show, but when I saw the list of nominees, I just gravitated towards his name instantly, especially because for everything, Kevin, you said about sometimes they like going for these like legacy actors who have won from a bunch of different bodies, even previous Golden Globes before. This is also a show that my coworkers, knowing that I'm into film and TV, always tell me I need to watch. So I feel like it does have a sort of hold over people who do,
water
watch
cooler.
Maybe not that. Yeah, it has that water cooler appeal maybe. So I don't know. I'm going with him here, but I can see John Turturro. I feel like that's probably the sensible choice, but I'm going out on a limb.
No, I think Lithgow's the sensible choice. Honestly.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it's a better choice than Turturro.
Turturro's performance.
I feel like I'm on the outside.
Yeah, Turturro's such a good performance, but it's also one of those performances you sit there and you go, yeah, the Globes aren't going to be able to like have the taste to award this. You know what I mean? And so not to say that like John Lithgow's bad or anything, but like there's a lot of nuance to Turturro's performance. A lot of it's internal. And I think, you know what, I was thinking Turturro for a long time, and I think the Lithgow contingent here convinced me. I'm going to make the switch. I think it's going to be John Lithgow now. Yeah, that just makes sense too. It's also one that started like his last Emmy train was here as well too, and I could very well see
half of his performance is on the phone. I'll just let you know that much.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean,
he's an agent, and so he's like trying to get Jeff Bridges and facilitate like all these things from the middle.
Doesn't matter to them.
Most of his screen time is on the phone.
I love that. All right, let's go to actress, best actress in a limited or anthology series. So we have Jessica Chastain for George and Tammy. We have Julia Garner for Inventing Anna. We have Lily James for Pam and Tommy. We have Julie Roberts for Gaslit, and we have Amanda Seyfried for The Dropout. I'm just going to play it safe here. I'm going to go Amanda Seyfried on this one. I think that's just kind of where the safe money is at. But I wouldn't be surprised if the one that actually wins this is Jessica Chastain, because it is the newer show, and it is the one that they're, they always do this crap. It's like something that came out like 5 minutes ago, and they're like a kid with a shiny new toy, like the one that they've loved forever, like throw it away. So, but Seyfried's won everything so far. Kind of makes sense for her to win this as well. But I think Chastain's the spoiler. Kevin, how do you see it?
I completely agree with that. I do see Amanda Seyfried probably sweeping the Winter Awards after winning the Emmy, much like, Kate Winslet last year. But yeah, I think Jessica Chastain by far is the most recent of these. All of these came out in early spring. So like, I don't know how much buzz there still is.
Put that in the trailer. By far,
put that on the poster. On the poster. So by far the most recent performance you'll see this year.
And I also think maybe they want to make it up to her for not giving her the award last year for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Who knows?
Yeah, there's that. They do like to do that. They like to, we made a mistake, we'll give you this award kind of thing too. Erik?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat for all the same reasons. Amanda Seyfried, but very much watch out for Jessica Chastain.
She also loves awards. She's like obsessed with them.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not.
Necessarily.
That's why we're here. If every award, we would have nothing to talk about, Ryan.
Every award makes her stronger. It makes a certain YouTube.
She's collecting them like Infinity Stones.
Yes, and making
not like even an EGOT, but it's just like all the other ones.
Exactly. Sophia,
I'm so tempted to switch to Jessica Chastain now.
It's very tempting.
It's like right there. This is one where I might make a last minute switch, but right now for all of the reasons that we've said so far, Amanda Seyfried is just the safe, easy pick. So I'm going with her.
Dan?
Yeah, like by rights, it should be Lily James, but it's probably going to be Amanda Seyfried.
That makes sense.
She's won everything. I don't understand. Not that she's not good in The Dropout, but like, come on, people. Jessica Chastain would make a whole lot of sense.
And then they just choose violence and give it to Julia Garner.
I would love that.
Or Julia Roberts.
So funny.
Or Julia. Yeah, Julia Roberts makes sense.
Either Julia, like.
But see, this is
Julia or Julia
again. That's an issue of timing and calendar. I mean, this could if the Emmys hadn't happened yet. Lily James would be such an easy Globes pick here. Easy.
Yeah.
But timing just does weird things.
Yep, it does. All right, let's move over to actor in a limited series or anthology series, television series, whatever.
This is just like a smash category. This is like,
I can't.
Who should we?
We're not giving a Golden Globe. We're giving other things. Taron Egerton for Blackbird, Colin Firth for The Staircase, Andrew Garfield for Under Banner of the Heaven, Evan Peters for Dahmer, and Sebastian Stan for Pam and Tommy. Kevin, kick it over to you. Who do you have winning this category? A Golden Globe. They're winning a Golden. You're predicting a Golden Globe win, not one you want to take home that night. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for clarifying.
You could pick that too if you want. I mean,
no, not hurting for options here. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm going for another serial killer here and going with Evan Peters in Dahmer, which they clearly loved very much. 3 acting nominations plus series. And it is like one of the biggest Netflix shows ever.
Yeah. I mean,
which who knows what that means for the culture, but it's the fact. So
I agree with you.
It just means everybody loves true crime.
But it just also means that once again, the Golden Globes can add as many people as they want. They still love Ryan Murphy. And so for that reason, that's why I'm picking Evan Peters here. Ryan Murphy does.
He's
like,
getting the Carol Burnett Award that night,
which is a choice.
Netflix is very well represented in these nominations.
I forgot about
the fucking choice. All right?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? When I saw that, I went like, okay, Globes. Way to
Globe's
gonna globe.
Who's getting the Cecil B. DeMille?
Erik? Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Globe's gonna globe.
Globe's gonna globe. All right.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Erik, who do you have Evan Peters?
You know, on the podcast, on my podcast, or not mine, but the podcast that was on yesterday, I picked Andrew Garfield, and I don't know why, because Evan Peters is totally going to win this.
I think you were picking him because you want to take Andrew Garfield home, and I think
I like Andrew Garfield so much, and
he's a very nice guy.
I think he's very good in this. In fact, everybody is really, really good. This is a good category.
It's a really solid category.
And Taron Egerton already would be like the spoiler here.
Yeah, I think if he didn't win for Rocket Man, he would be more of an urgency to win this category. But he has won recently, so. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it would be kind of weird for Evan Peters to
not win. Yeah. So, Sophia?
Yeah, I also have Evan Peters winning, despite the controversy of the show. I don't really think that's going to amount to anything with this group. So I think he's pretty easily going to win. Although, since you did pose the question early on, if I had to pick a man from this group, for myself personally, I would select Andrew Garfield.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Dan?
It is not the correct answer, because if that's the category, it's Taron Egerton.
Okay.
Period. But
He's got
that aside, like, this is obviously Evan Peters.
Yeah.
Erik, I don't know what you were thinking with the whole Andrew Garfield thing, but it's the most popular show. Everyone watched it. There's no way he loses.
All right. Let's do. All right. Actress in a comedy or musical, it's always just a comedy. Should just take the musical out of this television war. Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Kaylee Cuoco for The Flight Attendant, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday, and Jean Smart for Hacks. All right, Erik, what do you got?
Jenna Ortega, pretty easily.
All right. Do we all have Jenna Ortega?
I do.
Yep,
I do.
I sure do.
All right. All right. Yeah. That was an easy category.
The Globesiest.
The Globesiest thing too. That's another one of those.
TV section.
Especially that it got into series too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just finished watching Wednesday yesterday, and I freaking loved it.
She's great.
And Jenna Ortega is great in it. Yeah.
My spoiler actually is Selena Gomez.
That would be mine as well.
Interesting.
Because she's been campaigning the most for the show. Even more than Martin or or Short, and she also has the documentary out as well too this year. She's clearly been everywhere trying to win something, so I wouldn't be surprised either. And also she's a mega star, so like it makes sense for Globes to want to give her a Globe as well.
I'm kind of tempted to say that like Quinta Brunson could spoil here, and like a Rachel Bloom, you are the creative force behind your show that we liked.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah. But I don't like, it's like Kevin was saying earlier, like they go in pairs, not in big groups with these wins, nothing sweeps. So I feel like weird about saying that she's definitely going to win here, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Actor in a musical or comedy: Donald Glover for Atlanta, Bill Hader for Barry, Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, and Jeremy Allen White for The Bear.
Can we really get Steve Martin and Martin Short to compete as a pair Like, I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
If someone just nominated
Them together.
in one slot.
Yeah, one slot as both.
Unit.
Sophia,
Yeah.
who do you have winning this category?
Yeah, this one feels somewhat easy to me too. I have Jeremy Allen White for The Bear.
Yeah.
Easy. I don't even have a backup.
Nobody? Anybody else
No.
picking otherwise than that?
No.
100%. Yeah.
All right, we can move on from that one. Best performance in a television series drama. We have Emma Darcy for House of the Dragon. We have Laura Linney for Ozark, Hilda Staunton for The Crown, Hilary Swank, Alaska Daily, and Zendaya for Euphoria. Alaska Daily, just a show.
What?
Welcome to the stage, Alaska Daily.
I mean,
It is a thing that exists. My mom
ABC.
watched it. Like,
ABC, folks.
that is Hilary Swank's drag name.
yeah.
Absolutely
Um,
crazy.
Dan, what do you have going on in this category?
I have Emma Darcy for House of the Dragon.
Okay. All right.
Buzzy show. I feel like they are the like big breakout of that cast.
Mhm.
Not necessarily the character, but like them as a persona and the character.
Yeah.
Went viral this
Yeah.
year. And yeah.
Everybody will be drinking their drink in the room.
I'm not super confident, but that's where I'm sort of feeling right now.
Mr. Jacobsen.
I'm also on Emma Darcy here. Yeah, it seems like the sort of temperature of looking at like experts and editors at Gold Derby and everything are saying it's Zendaya, but I'm not entirely convinced. They didn't nominate her for the first season even. Also, the series isn't nominated, so I don't know how much they love Euphoria. I mean, I don't know if like Imelda Staunton really has enough material this season to really compete, to be honest, even though the first two won for their first seasons. So there's that. But yeah, I think just, the fact that House of the Dragon is in drama series and Emma Darcy is this rising star, I think is a great combination for the Globes.
Erik.
That makes perfect sense. So obviously I'm not going with it.
Are you picking Zendaya?
I am
He's
not.
picking
I am,
Imelda.
I am picking Imelda Staunton. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the Globe move.
The way that
Yeah.
the previous queens have won, the mold is there. It exists. But to Kevin's point, Darcy is very the moment right now.
Yeah.
Even though the Globes have been very cold on Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Other outside of Dinklage.
Performances outside of Dinklage.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of a breakthrough for somebody else. But if somebody were to do it, it would be Emma Darcy.
Sophia.
I have Emma Darcy also. I will toast them with a Negroni Spagliato with Prosecco if they win. But I do
Stunning.
have... Thank you. So
Stunning.
great.
Very good job.
But I do have Imelda Staunton as my runner-up. She is kind of my like cynical spoiler pick. Just if I want to like think about actually what they do here, like that probably is the wise choice. But I'm going to go with the newcomer instead.
I'm going with Imelda Staunton as well, because Erik and I talked about this the other night. And when I thought about that, I was like, no, because I thought back to, okay, when is it that they win the Globe and when is it when they win the Emmy? And I couldn't, and I know that it's the second season for the Emmy, but I didn't know when it was the Globe win for the Crown actresses.
It's weird.
And so I sat there and I went, oh, it is the first season. Yep. Gonna plug that in there. Just gonna be like, that's the one to go with for now. But actually, I do think the spoiler, even though the series wasn't nominated, I do think it's Zendaya because of the fact that she is a 2-time Emmy winner. She's a star and they love stars, and she fits the mold of a young star as well in this category to win. And they haven't awarded her yet. So it would be a good place to award her as well.
Yeah, but they usually like to be the ones to do it first.
Yeah, they like to be the first
That's
one.
their thing. Is that
That's how? Well, maybe
If you don't
critics are
win-
going to ignore you, but we won't.
If
Yeah.
you don't win for the first season but get nominated for the second, it's rare that they go with that
It's a
person.
new group.
That's
It's a
them
new
playing
day.
catch up.
You know,
I know, but they have to prove themselves. That
they
they're
have to prove
actually
it. That's why she's
they
a
have to prove it.
backup. That's
Mhm.
why I picked the Mildo. All right.
No love for Hillary Swank. Wow.
Shantae away, Alaska Daily. All right, let's go. All right. Actor in a drama series. We have Jeff Bridges for The Old Man, Kevin Costner for Yellowstone, Diego Luna for Andor, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, and Adam Scott for Severance. Who is next? Well, I'll just go to Sophia. Sophia, what do you have in drama actor?
Okay, here I think it's somewhat sensible, but I'm also going with my heart because this is my favorite show that's nominated, and that is
Yellowstone.
Bob Odenkirk for
Yes!
Better Call Saul.
Thank you, Sophia.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was tempted to go with Adam Scott because I can see Severance winning drama series, not to step on that. And you think about the pairing, like Kevin was talking about earlier, but I even think if Severance wins drama series, that Bob Odenkirk can win here for Better Call Saul. And I don't know, looking at all of these options, I can sort of see almost any of them somehow winning in a way, but I'm going to stick with Bob Odenkirk. I feel like I also loved him on this season and throughout the show, so I'm going with him.
All right. Dan.
I know what I just said about if you don't win for the first season but get nominated for the next,
we
you
go.
don't win.
Oh,
But-
gonna contradict yourself, are we?
But I'm going with Bob Odenkirk.
There it is. Okay.
Yes,
Because,
join
like,
me.
I'm just like the fact that he hasn't won anything yet for this performance is
He won
just-
HCA awards.
shut up, is mind-boggling. Like I just don't understand it. So I have to go with like, well, they're just waiting for the last season to reward him.
Sure.
It's the only thing that makes sense. So
That is abusive relationship talk. Like,
I
maybe I can fix him.
Maybe the Globes will finally give him
I'm with you.
something.
I mean,
not just the Globes, maybe the Emmys. will
He's been
finally
sitting
give
there
him
this whole
something.
time. Give
Something.
something to Bob.
I
Yes.
just like I don't. Please, God, like also he's just like he's freaking incredible in
Also-
the last season of Better Call Saul.
Mhm.
So
Hey, he also went to the hospital this past year. Like,
mhm. Yeah,
you
he's
know,
got that sympathy vote. You
got the
know,
sympathy vote,
for
so does
Elizabeth
Bridges.
Taylor, it was the tracheotomy. For Bob Odenkirk, it's going to be the heart attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
do
Parallels.
the Globes have sympathy for anyone?
That's
Like,
fair.
ever?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
well, we'll
You
see.
know, We'll see.
I don't know. I also like this is kind
Bob
of like I
Odenkirk.
don't know who's going to win, so I'm going with
The Elizabeth Taylor of our time. That's what Dan Davis is.
I'm always saying this.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
Hey,
all-
Little Women.
Yeah. Kevin.
Wow.
He's playing out.
So I am also going with Bob Odenkirk here.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know if this
Miller.
is building up too many expectations here,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean the series is nominated. That feels like notable to me. They do sometimes reward people on their last seasons, like Bryan Cranston. They did not award for Breaking Bad until the final season,
That's
I believe.
true.
Yeah.
True.
What a
Um,
parallel.
What a
Right? Yeah.
parallel.
It's poetic in a way. John Hamm, by the way, speaking of AMC, won for the first season, but that was like a press conference writer strike.
Oh, it was the
situation.
2007
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I
Yeah.
hate
So
him.
then they finally gave him another one on an actual telecast for the final season as well. So
Damn right. You should have won
that's
for
the
every
parallel
season.
I'm going with. And I could see Jeff Bridges, you know, he has his own story that he has
Yeah,
as well.
He's a crazy heart.
He also
Yeah.
almost died.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Erik?
I'm just looking at both of these lead categories, and there are more women represented in the show category than men here. Only two of the men have shows that are nominated for best drama. That's interesting. I'm going with Adam Scott for reasons that will be revealed in a few minutes. I guess is the best way to describe that.
Spoiler alert.
Oh no, but I don't even think Odenkirk would be my spoiler. It would be Jeff Bridges.
Rude.
I am going out.
I was almost convinced by Kevin's argument because that made a lot of sense. It's trackable logic, and I love that. But I'm also stubborn.
Well, I'm going out on a limb here on this one. This is one of the times Ryan gets to go on a limb. I'm going with Diego Luna for Andor.
I knew.
Right?
I could see it.
It's the new shiny object. Disney Plus, Star Wars. He's a great actor.
International audience.
International audience. Totally. The thing about Andor 2 is I've not seen a single episode of that show. And I was like, oh, I don't want to watch a prequel series or whatever. And then everyone that's seen it loves it. And
I even liked it.
Yeah. Like they're like, oh, it's like Michael Clayton in Star Wars.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so
there's lesbian drama.
I've heard it's really, really good. And yeah, I think that this would be like, because Adam Scott to me, like, I think once again, like the Turturro argument, I don't know if that's like screaming them giving him a Golden Globe. I think Lithgow's more likely for the old man. I think Costner is just like a filler. Like until somebody gives Yellowstone a thing, I'm not going to believe it. And Odenkirk, I mean, unless history shows it like it did with Cranston, they've just never seemed to ever want to give him anything, nor that show. So I'm just going to go with the newer, shinier Star Wars object in the room. And with, I think, them adding members, they're much more to give it maybe something like a genre thing there than they are other things as well, too.
If Andor had a series nom, I would.
Yeah.
That's
the thing that's holding me back.
But my runner-up is Jeff Bridges. Yeah, I don't see Odenkirk winning this at all. No, not that I don't want him to.
Negativity out there.
I'm just saying. No, it's the same sort of thing. I'm just like, until they give us a nice surprise for that wonderful show.
Have gotten in.
Yeah,
I know the
continued
disrespect to Ray
if you're
Seahorn's
looking
she's
at
got the Emmy nomination.
Shut up! She should have been winning for 3 years.
She got an HCA award too. You know what I mean?
Again, they don't like.
She's got these things. They take them home. You know what I mean? All right. Best limited anthology series or TV film: Blackbird, Dahmer, Dropout, Pam and Tommy, White Lotus. Erik.
This is actually pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Between White Lotus and Dahmer. It's very, very competitive, I think, between those two because they're both so fucking zeitgeisty right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give White Lotus the edge, but Dahmer is absolutely right there.
The edge. Okay. All right. Sophia.
I'm also going with the White Lotus. I feel like the timing too right now, like people are still talking about it because it just ended. And yeah, it feels like they will recognize it this time around. And I do think, though, I agree with you, Erik, like Dahmer is right behind. I won't be surprised if that wins instead.
He's eating.
God damn it.
What?
It had to be
done
done
I'm
at
gonna
some
tweet
point.
that when he wins.
Surprised
damn it,
it
Yes,
lasted
girl.
this long.
Eat.
Slay.
Play.
Oh my god.
And
Oh, kill me now.
No. For all the reasons Erik said, White Lotus. Although I wouldn't put it past the Golden Globes to be like, well, we are giving Ryan Murphy an award. It'd be rude of us not to also award his show.
it's got enough.
But still, I think White Lotus is buzzier right now.
Yeah, I'm going White Lotus too. This is actually pretty easy for me. Kevin, how about you?
Yeah, definitely between those two. I think they're going to choose the glamour of the White Lotus over
okay.
grisly nature of Dahmer. I'll say that.
All right.
Glamour over grisly.
Glamour over grizzly. All right.
But not over the
That's how I live
cocaine
my
bear.
life.
Musical or comedy? Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, and Wednesday. Dan?
That's an excellent question. I have Abbott Elementary.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, same. Abbott Elementary with a slight chance of the bear, I guess, but
Yeah.
Abbott
Slight chance
still
of bear.
seems.
Yeah.
Slight chance of cocaine bear.
Erik?
I have the bear winning, and actually easily.
Sophia?
I also have the bear.
I've been
Great
saying
tie,
this for
Ryan.
I've been saying this for months. The Bears winning this damn award.
Mhm.
I don't like
This
Emmys will be
such a
different. This is so a Globe Brooklyn Nine-Nine sort of bullshit kind of thing, where like the actor wins and then the series win. You're going, what the hell? So it's very Mozart in the Jungle. It's very them. It's very Globes for them to give the Bear, and the Bear's a good show, so it's not like it's not deserving either.
And
But,
actually,
Where is the Iowa Debris nomination?
yeah, where is that?
yeah,
Abbott wouldn't even be my spoiler. Wednesday would be my spoiler.
Wednesday's my spoiler. Yeah,
There's
Abbott's
a
like-
world where Netflix wins all the series categories.
Oh God.
There's a world where
It's
where
true,
Abbott
though.
where Abbott doesn't win a thing.
It's close.
So,
Mhm.
drama series: Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of Dragon, Ozark, Severance. I'm gonna go with The Crown because I don't think they're cool enough to give it to Severance, and I don't think they're gonna give it to Ozark. And we talked about pairs, Best Actress, and drama series as well. I feel like that's where it will go. I'm not buying House of Dragon either. So therefore, I'm going with The Crown. I'm not confident in that at all. I want to see Severance win. It was my favorite show last year, but I never get the things that I want. So, Kevin, how do you see it playing out?
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, there's a lot to
But,
unpack there. It's actually,
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I have Severance here, actually. And I don't have it winning elsewhere, but that technically has not stopped them in the past.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
true.
look up a stat specifically for this, that the Americans won this award and nothing else
Damn right.
that was the final season, I think. So yeah, I think it's going to be a nice win for Apple TV Plus.
God, I love
They like
the
to spread the wealth with studios. So there you go.
I love the Americans. God damn it,
Oh,
what a
I do
great show.
too.
What a great
Mhm.
show. Erik,
So good.
Me?
your pig darling.
Severance.
Okay.
Severance.
Sophia?
Quite easily.
Yeah, I also have Severance. As much as I would love Better Call Saul, I'm choosing Severance. I feel like it's pretty easy as well. But
Mm.
it would be kind of fun not fun, I mean, but interesting if they picked House of the Dragon. But I do think it will be Severance.
Dan?
So I know what I've been saying about the Globes and what they like to do and how they have to prove to me that they're, younger and cooler now, but I don't think they're cool enough to go with Severance.
Yeah.
So, Sophia, I'm saying House of the Dragon.
Okay.
I was wondering if someone
They're
would,
cool enough
because
to go
it
there.
just feels
Yeah.
kind of like they might. I don't know.
I'm just like I feel like those are the two buzziest shows in this
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
And they like to go with the buzzy shows. I could see them doing Better Call Saul like they did with the Americans and like a final season. Like, we're really sorry that we got caught up in other things, but we do like you.
We
kind
knew
of
you were
way.
there the whole time, sweetheart. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would make sense. That would
Yeah.
match nicely with Bob Odenkirk
That's
winning. But I currently also have Emma Darcy winning for House of the Dragon, and that was the buzzy show. And I feel like they may want to do a mea culpa to Game of Thrones. Like, we know you were the talk of the world, and
Talk of the nation.
sorry. Yeah.
We're
All right.
sorry.
I am not confident about this at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
But that's where my mind is at right now.
All right, that's TV. we're done with that. Put that aside. Let's get the film. I know we got a lot to go. Let's do an easy one. Best animated feature. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. What is it? I-N-O? Right? How you pronounce?
Inuo.
Inuo. Okay, thank you. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: The Last Witch, and Turning Red. So, Kevin, start with you.
Yeah, I mean, Pinocchio should pretty easily take this. Nice, easy win for Netflix here. They like star directors too, so you know it has everything in its favor, I think. Although, by the way, I did just watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and it's lovely.
So good.
Like I had such a wonderful time with it, and I did not expect that. So I just want to throw that out there. That
Kevin's favorite
is a very
movie of the
good
year.
Category.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's his favorite movie of the year.
Yes.
Good job, Kevin.
Yes.
Erik, Pinocchio.
Yeah, Pinocchio should easily win this. Marcel is like maybe a spoiler.
Okay.
But yeah, Puss in Boots is like one of the best movies of 2022.
Right.
Sophia?
Yeah, I mean, Puss in Boots is Olivia Colman's best movie of the year for sure.
Wow.
No lies detected.
No, she's not wrong.
But I am picking Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It feels pretty easy.
Ian.
Yeah, Pinocchio, and it's not even close.
Pinocchio. Yes, exactly. Pinocchio. Best non-English language film. All Quiet on the Western Front. Argentina, 1985. Close. Decision to Leave and R. Erik, how do you say it playing out?
I'm going with RRR. Even though they did not nominate it in other categories, which they absolutely could have. And again, this on the podcast
outside of song,
we were talking about how there was this big like build up for RRR before awards started happening, and they've gotten like one, like the New York win for Rajmouli, and then it flopped really with the Oscar shortlist. It flopped with the BAFTA shortlist list. So
I mean, well,
the build up to
it's the most critical movie ever of the British Empire, so was BAFTA really gonna do a lot for RRR? I mean,
that's fair.
Still, there was momentum until there was not. But I still think that they will do that here. It's risky because it's not a
it's not going to carry. Yeah, it's not going to carry on. So
they've done it before.
Yeah, I'm going with All Quiet on the Western Front here. I'm tempted to go with RRR. I feel like that's the fun choice, and I could absolutely see this group doing that, but I feel like they are going to go with sort of the most universal movie here, the safest choice, a World War I story that is All Quiet on the Western Front.
Okay, Dan.
I think that it definitely could be All Quiet on the Western Front. That would be my runner-up, but I'm going with RRR.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah, definitely between those two, and two very different movies and two very different experiences watching those movies. You know, RRR is fun, it's flashy, it's pomp and circumstance, it's a lot of things that the Globes love, has the original song nom. But yeah, All Quiet does have a little bit of, feels like it's starting to get some momentum here with other groups. So
finally.
Right. So very close. I sided with RRR in the end just because it felt like the more Globesy choice, but would not be surprised either way.
So I'm going with RRR, even though it feels like the tide obviously has shifted to All Quiet on the Western Front, especially in this category. It feels like we've kind of wink, wink found our front runner here.
Yep.
I think the thing about it is was there enough time, or have they gone to the ballots already and changed it, before the telecast, to go with the momentum?
Voting ended on January 3rd.
Sure, it did. It totally ended then. But like, was there enough time before that vote? If we want to just not be like, silly and just say that it's on the up and up, then if that's the case, then I think RRR had the momentum at the time in which voting happened, and then therefore that's what I think we will win. But if we were doing this vote this week it would have been All Quiet on the Western Front in a landslide, and we wouldn't even had this conversation. But we did have the Oscar shortlist at that time, so maybe it was changing around. It is a more easy, accessible pick for them than something like RRR, I guess, even though people have been kind of All Quiet on the Western Front is a much more accessible, easy film for people to swallow down than RRR.
Is it? Is it?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Phrasing.
I don't know.
It is. And I think that it's also a more traditional pick for them. And so therefore that's why they could go for it. Sorry, Sophia, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, you're good. I was just thinking, like, with momentum, I think what you said is true, but I also don't think there's a way for us to really know with this group in particular, because what other awards was All Quiet on the Western Front going to be nominated for here with this group? So there's no really way to tell. I mean, I suppose score, but they really went with some favorites in that category.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the momentum really could have been for them at the time with another movie. So
Not getting in.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. All right. Best original song, Carolina for Where the Crawdads Sing. Ciao Papa for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Hold my hand for Top Gun Maverick. Lift Me Up for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Not To for RRR. All right, Erik, your favorite category. Your favorite category.
I hate all of these songs except for one.
Hold my hand.
Maybe two.
If one of them is not to.
I have Not To winning.
Okay.
And Hold My Hand is my spoiler.
Okay. Sophia?
I have Hold My Hand. I do not like that song, but I just can see them giving another award to Lady Gaga. As fun as Not To is, that is my spoiler. It's my backup. But yeah, I feel like this is a place where they're going to show that they love Top Gun Maverick and Lady Gaga in particular.
I can't wait to see who she bumped out of the way to get to the stage.
Is she going?
Get out of the way,
Is that
Austin Butler.
confirmed?
I don't think so.
Dan, do I even need to ask?
I would love for it to be Not To, but I am in my cynical mode right now and saying it's going to be Hold My Hand.
Okay. All right.
It's a lot.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm also going with Hold My Hand here, just as a very conservative pick. I think it's a very nice, easy way to reward Top Gun Maverick.
See, if she didn't have like 7 awards, it feels like already from the Golden Globes, I would go with that. So I'm gonna go with Lift Me Up. I think that I don't like that song.
Okay, the worst song of the bunch. Okay.
But Carolina exists.
It's so sleepy.
But
it's ambient. It's extra strength ambient.
Yeah.
but I think that
Her other song was better.
I think
So
it
much better.
it totally was. But I think that don't want to like give it to Rihanna. I don't think she's going to win the Oscar, but I feel like this is like this is like this category at this ceremony is almost like blah. Like it never really actually matters when it comes down to Oscars towards the end, as long as you just get the nomination, I think.
Yeah, they don't do song performances, although they're going to do a song performance by somebody else that I have never heard of before.
Sure.
It'd be weird.
Way to spoil your gig next Tuesday. But anyway. So I think it'll be Lift Me Up. All right. Best original song, Banshees of Inisherin, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Women Talking, Babylon, and The Fabelmans. Who's next? Sophia.
Score?
What?
Did you say
Score.
score? You said song again.
Did I say song? I'm sorry. Best original score. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sophia?
Yeah, for this one, I'm going with my favorite score of the bunch, and that is Justin Hurwitz's score for Babylon. He won for La La Land and First Man. Alexander Desplat is my backup, but I just feel like this score in particular, it is so loud and like brassy and bombastic. It's sort of hard to ignore, and they do clearly like him, so I'm going with Babylon here.
All right, Dan.
I am also going with Babylon. He won for First Man when the rudely denied him even a nomination for the best score of that year, or the second best score of that year. And of these scores, Babylon is the one where it feels most like the score is the star of the movie. Like, there are whole sequences of this where it is just that score, and it's really, it gets to shine in the movie more than any of the others. Although I do like want to put my cynical Golden Globes hat on and say, like, John Williams has announced this is his last film. It is his final collaboration with Spielberg. It's
second to last film,
or second to last film, but it is his final collaboration with Steven Spielberg. That's a big cinema defining pairing. And I could very easily see the sweep to the Oscar start here. But for now, I'm going with Babylon. They also really liked Babylon, so they gave it a good number of nominations, so it wouldn't be like completely out of left field.
Yeah. Williams won't be a 100% sweep to the Oscar because he was not BAFTA long list this past week. That was
sure.
Kevin.
I'm also on the Babylon train here. Loud, brassy. I also think it's the most memorable, quite frankly, of the five. So I think that is going to matter. And very super easy way to give something to Babylon if they even want to do that.
Yeah.
So,
because it's sometimes when they give a lot of nominations to something, doesn't mean that it's going to walk away with a win. Just means that they,
as I know from Carol. Just saying. That's my trauma.
That's your trauma. All right, Erik.
I'm very outside on this one.
Here we go.
And I am actually going with Women Talking.
I could see that too.
It's very, very unlikely. I realized, especially with how that film did,
man,
with the Globes, but
how it's doing with everyone, not just Globes at this point.
Yeah,
it's sad.
But
it's
there is
really sad.
She is a name now, and she would be.
She had 2 scores this year.
The first woman to win 2 score Globes. But I do have Fabelman's as my spoiler. I don't have Babylon as my spoiler, but I know it makes more sense.
Man. Okay, this is tough because there are tons of favorites. Everybody in here has won one, I believe, except Carter Burwell.
And
should have like 5 Oscars by now.
Yeah, he should.
I love the Banshee score. Oh,
and it's a great score.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I was gonna go with Desplat because man, they love Desplat. I mean, like, that man's nominated, he's winning things. He just wins everything all the time, even for scores that he shouldn't. Shape of Water. And no,
I will not take any slander.
Not with Johnny Greenwood sitting right there.
Johnny Greenwood should have swept.
Yes, he should have. That fan thread score is amazing. Yes.
No.
Yes.
We'll hear slander against the Shape of Water score. Not today.
Bad score. Anyway, wasn't even his best score that year. All right. Anyway, I think that he could win. Obviously, Williams could win. I'm gonna end up going with the group here, peer pressure, and just go with Babylon. Even though like it, yes, they nominated it a ton of places. It's a very, this is a score kind of thing that they could go for. I don't feel like the urgency to give Justin Hurwitz another thing or that movie essentially just for score. I mean, John Williams is sitting right there. That's the narrative. That is the narrative of all narratives right there. Just be like this giant, and he struggled and to get that long list this week. It's a really tough category, but I'm gonna go with Babylon. But man, there's 2 people sitting right there in Williams and in Desplat that I can't unsee. And then Hildur has 2 scores this year. They like Tar as well to nominate it as best film, so her hands are all over that. It's really tough. I'm gonna go with Babylon just for right now, but I could change this tomorrow if I had the choice. All right, best screenplay. I'm gonna go with Babylon. Best screenplay. I'm gonna go with Babylon. Best screenplay. I'm gonna go with Babylon just for right now, but I could change this tomorrow if I had the choice. All right, best screenplay. I'm gonna go with Babylon. Best screenplay. Todd Field for Tar, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Martin McDonagh for the Banshees of Inisherin, Sarah Polley for Women Talking, and Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner for The Fabelmans. Dan, what do you got in original screenplay?
Well, I have the most nominated movie in Golden Globes history, The Banshees of Inisherin.
Banshees of Ed Sheeran. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Jacobsen.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's close between him and the Daniels here. Both, very flashy screenplays for very different reasons, I would say. But generally speaking, they do love the names in screenplay. The Aaron Sorkins, the Quentin Tarantinos, and Martin McDonagh is, I think, one of them. So, yeah.
Erik?
Banshee's easy, but Fabelmans is my spoiler.
Okay. Sophia?
Yeah, I have Banshees winning also, like pretty easily. But I do think like the past 2 years, their MO is like, let's give the movie that needs a little bit of salt. And that's quite pedestrian. The Screenplay Award, Belfast, Trial of the Chicago 7. They like doing that. So The Fabelmans is my spoiler.
Even though that's not a...
I love The Fabelmans. I do. But of the group. Right? What is the most, I'm not trying to insult the movie because I love the movie, but what can sort of appeal
You're
to
working real hard to do it.
People, right? In that way, it's Kushner. It's the playwriting.
Yeah, it's the stage. It's the stagey sort of pick, which is why my spoiler is actually Women Talking. I think Banshees is going to win, but I think also too, it being the only adapted one in the lineup kind of might help it a little bit too. I think also,
how did it help it?
Yeah, because it separates it from all the other original ones, I guess, and that clearly if people really love that film, they're like, yeah, it's clearly the winner in its Oscar category, so it clearly has to find love at least on one side.
Is it still?
Still at this point, yes, because I've not seen another film that has gone and stand up and said I'm winning adapted screenplay at this point. I understand it's like this right now, but no one else has stood up at this point, so at this point it still is, in my opinion. Now that could change, but I until I see other evidence wise, it is what it is. And I think the other thing about that movie too is it could have a narrative behind it, in that there were no female directors nominated. There were no films in the Best Picture category that were directed by a woman that could very much easily, assist Sarah Polley in having her moment up on the stage as well, because of the fact that the Globes don't need any more controversies than they already have given themselves, even with these nominations. And we'll talk about a controversy here in a little bit that they could have on their hands maybe later on in another category. But I think that it's going to go to Martin McDonagh for the Banshees of Inisherin, and that's clearly been one of like the easiest picks for that movie, which is actually kind of surprising because if there was going to be something for the Daniels to win, I thought it would be more original screenplay this season rather than it would be like director, because that is the most technically original screenplay of the year. And
still could.
Still could. I'm not saying it couldn't, but also look out for Todd Field. That's all I'll say. He's been surprising.
Don't do that to me.
He's been surprising all year long.
He has.
That movie is in picture. And I'm just saying he has been the shock of all shocks. Do not count out Todd Field in there. He's like the sneaky 5 or 4.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
It really,
I will say
really is.
I will say, as far as Women Talking goes, if the Globes have been paying attention to their PR recently, I think Women Talking winning screenplay would go a long way towards them, recovering a little from the bad PR of the nominations. So if they're hyper aware, I could see Women Talking pulling this off.
Best director.
They don't care though. They don't care about that.
I mean, do they? I feel like
I don't know.
now they kind of care more than they used
They
to.
actively sent out comments that they've done enough. That we've made enough changes. We don't need to make any more. They've been very obstinate and very
We'll see.
bullish about
Yeah.
that they've even had to make their changes.
Moving on. Best director, James Cameron, Avatar: The Way of Water. The Daniels, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Baz Luhrmann, Elvis. Martin McDonagh, The Banshees of Inisherin. And Steven Spielberg for The Fablemans. All right. Kevin. Director.
Yeah, well, it's easy to say that Spielberg has this in the bag, right? Just because that's been the sort of narrative that a lot of people have sort of been behind, that this is his year, his most personal story. It's been long enough to give him another one. That sort of is the narrative. And it feels like the actual enthusiasm, at least with critics so far, has been not what I expected. So I'm very hesitant to just kind of name check the Steven Spielberg here. And the problem is there is a lot of flashiness in the rest of the lineup too, that I wonder who the alternative is going to be. But I landed on the Daniels here, even though they are the least starry, quote unquote, of this bunch by a long shot. It is incredibly flashy directing. And I think that they are going to go for this movie in a pretty sizable way. And it's going to continue with what the critics have been saying, which is the Daniels all the way in this category.
Erik.
I'm looking, I guess, more at timing and a little bit of history and feel a little old-fashioned with it, and I'm going with Spielberg.
Okay.
But Baz Luhrmann is my spoiler.
Sophia.
Yeah, exactly the same as Erik here. I have Spielberg winning with Luhrmann as my spoiler. We'll get around to Elvis in a little bit, but I can really feel that. I don't know why, just like the Elvis surge to me feels so real. But I think with Spielberg, it's just right now, number one, frankly, I don't know who to go with as an alternative. So I'm just sort of defaulting to Spielberg here as a sensible choice. And there usually isn't a split with what wins picture, which is a little concerning. So I'm not quite sure there with drama how that will work out. But the historic comparison that I think of here is actually Scorsese winning the Globe for Hugo. That feels sort of similar with Spielberg winning for The Fablemans here in director. The movie, right? He might not win director at the Oscars. He's not going to win director at the BAFTAs because he wasn't longlisted there, which is just insane.
Baffling.
But I think they could still recognize him here for The Fablemans.
Dan.
Yeah. For all those same reasons, I have Spielberg as the winner, Baz Luhrmann as the potential most likely spoiler. I've always sort of felt that like Spielberg and the Fablemans in general would not really start asserting dominance over the season until we got to the televised awards, because critics were always going to go more for the Tars, your Banshees of Inisherin's, your more high-minded literary, sort of difficult movies. And Fablemans is deeper than it appears on first glance, but it's not a dark, depressing character study that critics usually like to go for. So I have always sort of been of the opinion that when we get to the actual guilds and the industry, and it's important to remember that the HFPA are not critics. They are journalists. They're press members. Yes, in quotes, but they're definitely usually, most of them are not critics. So they're not looking at it through the same lens. And I think this is where the Fablemans reasserts its dominance over the season.
I want to give it to Steven Spielberg, but I just can't right now. I can't overlook the fact that this movie has just underperformed and has just not done what we would even expect. I think the BAFTAs were a telltale sign for that movie. And I just don't see that there is the urgency, even though there really should be, to give that man awards. And I could be wrong, and I love that film to pieces, but it just doesn't seem like that's the case. Cameron, I don't see that happening. They've done that before 13 years ago.
He did it last time.
Unless Schwarzenegger's walking out on that stage again, I just don't see that happening. Avatar, the way of water. But then, I don't think McDonough's going to win here. I think that's where screenplay is more likely for him. And so I think Baz Luhrmann is our spoiler. And I'm going to go with the Daniels. I feel like this movie's got all the momentum right now until I see otherwise. And everybody's been starting to jump on this train that they're going to win director. And it would be the first duo since the Coen brothers to win the Oscar. Which, the Coens were the Coens, it wasn't like it was their second movie or whatever together. But this movie is I hate saying this, but this movie is the moment right now. And and I don't think that they're going to just go home with Best Picture. I think that they're going to give them an individual prize. And as of right now, they could just go home with Best Picture, but I think that they're going to give them a prize in director. And if they win this, it's a televised event. They'll give a speech, and then that's all the momentum that they're going to start needing in order to win the whole thing, which would be a pretty wild Best Director winner when it all sets down. But it also could just be a Globes thing too, as well. All right,
they would be the first duo directors ever to win the Globe.
Win the Globes, yeah. History.
Coen brothers didn't even.
No, it went to Joe Wright.
Yeah,
right.
The Globes don't love the.
Isn't
Coens.
that like Julian Schnabel or something?
Maybe it was Schnabel. Yeah, that year. That was also the non-televised.
Yeah.
Supporting actress Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Carrie Condon, the Banshees of Inisherin. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Dolly De Leon for The Triangle of Sadness, and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. She said. I'm sorry.
This is how Carey Mulligan wins.
I've got the train tickets right over here. Let me just go get them. Yeah, everyone's favorite category right now: Best Supporting Actress. So, with that in mind, Erik, who do you have winning this category?
I have chosen Chaos.
Yes, here he goes. I know what he's doing.
Because I think Jamie Lee Curtis is winning this in a walk.
I am so with you, Erik.
Right?
She was the only person last year that actively supported the HFPA during their total ban, making a video for them on their show about their philanthropy. It seems very easy to me, but it's cynically so.
Yeah.
And if she loses, then I would like her to lose so that I could lose a little bit of cynicism about the HFPA. Because it would do a whole lot of work in doing that. But if she wins, it's encrusted in diamonds.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Dan has also Jamie Lee Curtis winning.
Yep. Although it could also very easily be Angela Bassett.
Yep.
Or Carrie Condon. Both of those feel very
Bassett's my spoiler.
Yeah.
Sophia, who do you have winning? Is it Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, it's funny because I sort of turned this into a hair pulling category like by myself because Jamie Lee Curtis is the answer, right? Like that feels right. She has so many nominations. She has 2 wins. And like Erik said, right, she is the queen of the Golden Globes. It just makes sense for her to get this award for a movie that I think they really like. And what was stopping me from being all in on her and looking at Carrie Condon, who was my spoiler, just thinking about like, okay, I want to make the 3 Billboards comparison here. Like, is it going to be a case where you have Condon and Farrell as the McDormand Rockwell pair for a McDonough movie, which makes sense. And also sometimes, Carrie Condon sort of fits the like Cody Smith McPhee path with critics, them going that way here. So Carrie Condon is my spoiler. Because the other thing that was holding me back, which I don't really know if this group even cares about, is, okay, how many awards are they going to give Everything Everywhere All at Once? Because then you have to think about like, oh, well, Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan and all of these different combinations that can happen. But I'm trying not to think about that. I'm just looking at this category in isolation, and I'm just going with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I lied. Actually, Carrie Condon is my spoiler, not Angela Bassett.
There you go. Kevin?
Well, I was not expecting this kind of a consensus here in this category.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm going completely off of that. I just don't think the performance is there, personally speaking, for Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's
I
not.
don't disagree, but
Yeah, no, I don't either.
when has that
I
stopped the Golden Globes?
I get that. I think
yeah.
there are enough new members that could maybe tip the scales in the favor of someone else, perhaps. And I'm going pure chaos here. I am picking Dolly De Leon.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
I could see it. I could see
Yeah.
it.
It just, something about that, the fact that she got in, there were alarm bells when I saw that she got in, because she is not a star. She is in a film that has international appeal, and I think that is a performance that people are going to be passionate about in a category where I don't know if there is a lot of passion for some of these enough to, go over the finish line. So Angela Bassett is actually my spoiler, because I think they would want a big kind of moment there, and that would be, a legacy win, and could probably have a really powerful speech. So it's between those two for me personally.
Yeah, I think this
and
is
Triangle got into
picture.
comedy.
Comedy,
Yeah.
picture,
Yep.
yeah.
We'll see.
I am totally aware of Queen Nepo, Jamie Lee Curtis in this category, and I am totally aware of Dolly De Leon. I'm totally aware of Carey Mulligan, also in this category as well, and Carrie Condon, obviously, for the love of Banshees. I'm going with Angela Bassett.
Sticking with your former boss. I respect it.
I fuck you. I think, no, in all honesty, the only thing that hangs me up there is the fact that it's a Marvel performance. That's the only thing that is hanging me up on that. I think that it would be one, she's never won anything. Which is, I mean, the fact that like this would start her sort of Oscar train, the fact that, she would win for this film, which is also another way of honoring Chadwick Boseman, obviously with everything that's happened with the Oscars and Anthony Hopkins, a couple of years ago, even though, I still think, the right performance won, there is still a sort of a sour taste of the way that show ended. It's the best way to honor this film, which has done really well for it as well. I mean, the movie is a giant hit. And I mean, Angela Bassett winning a Globe on the way to winning an Oscar. I mean, no one's going to say no to Angela Bassett winning an Oscar. Just it doesn't have to be for a Marvel movie. That's the only thing that I think is hanging that up. Otherwise, she's got the scenes. She's been all over the place. She was in Palm Springs this past weekend. She's been getting awards left and right from various places. I could see that happening. But yes, Sophia's probably right, where it's just like, I mean, it just feels like this is a no-brainer, and it's Jamie Lee Curtis, and this award doesn't even matter because I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis is winning an Oscar for this performance. But it just feels like a home court advantage. But I think Bassett, just with the emotion, pulls the upset, if you want to call it an upset, which I don't really think.
Well, she is a previous winner. She won for What's Love Got to Do with it.
Yeah, I was just mostly talking about like Oscar. She hasn't
only
won an
because
Oscar.
it was in the
musical
old comedy musical category.
yeah.
She would not have beaten.
She would have been in drama. Yeah.
No, she wouldn't have won that.
Yeah. So, okay. Best supporting actor, Brendan Gleeson and Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin. You have Brad Pitt for Babylon, Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse.
Talk about chaos.
Talk about a chaos. Sophia, how do you see supporting actor going?
Well, if the HFPA really loves their serial killers, like we saw with the TV awards, maybe I'll go with the chaotic
Wow.
pick and choose Eddie Redmayne. But I can't here. I think here, like, Ke Huy Quan has swept the season so far, and I really do think that's going to continue through the televised awards. And I think he's going to give an incredible speech, and he's going to just
not gonna be a
keep
dry eye in the
steamrolling.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, that performance too, that feels like something that I can see the HFPA going for still, like even without the momentum behind him as a person and as an actor. Like, he feels like the type of person they would want to give this award to for that performance.
Dan, you the same way?
Eddie Redmayne, the good nurse. No, I will not elaborate except to say chaos reigns.
Oh wait, that's your prediction? Oh my god.
Here we go.
I love that I teed you up for that. Like, really.
I don't know. I'm choosing violence. I'm choosing chaos.
All right.
I have no explanation other than, like, as soon as he got the nomination, alarm bells went off in my head. It was just like, oh no.
Kevin?
What if this is Jared Leto and the Little Things?
Oh yeah, the
2.0?
little things. The Aaron
Like, what if
Taylor
he-
Johnson of
'cause
all.
Aaron
They
Taylor
like
Johnson,
him.
right?
He could
Yeah.
actually pull it off.
Yeah. Kevin?
It's Ke Huy Quan. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as Sophia was saying, it's like kind of like a perfect narrative for him too, in terms of he was a child star. They love child stars, you know, making good in adulthood, and just sort of
I thought you were going to say making
Going off
good
this-
performances. Yeah.
making good performances. Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna sweep.
Erik, you agree?
Oh yeah, this is a situation where the Critics' Choice and the Industry Choice is going to merge. Doesn't always happen. This is where Cody Smith-McPhee's massive critics run. He got the Globe and it ended there. That was it. He was done, because then everything shifted over to Troy Kotzer. There isn't really that here in the same way, because Quan is both the Cody Smith-McPhee and the Troy Kotzer this year. So he has both. He's the perfect contender in every possible way, more than I think any single person in any category running.
Yeah. I'm going with him too, but I agree with Dan. Eddie Redmayne is sitting right there for that stupid, like, it's gonna be probably the first award.
I can't.
It's like honestly, he's gonna get nominated at SAG at this point.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Still gonna get nominated at SAG,
Absolutely.
and then he won't get the Oscar
Mhm.
nomination. It's definitely gonna be that happening. But I could just, the first award of the night, we're all sitting there, everyone online is gonna be like, oh my god, this is the moment Ke won. He's gonna win everything. And then Eddie Redmayne for the good nurse, and then just you see online, you just see Twitter burn to the ground because of the fact that, you know, Eddie Redmayne goes up there and steals another award from for, you know, a bad performance. But I do think that if you weren't gonna go with anything for Everything Everywhere All at Once, this is the Globe that they're walking in the door with. Like, it's easy that way. It feels like there's no one else. Like, you could early in the season say Brendan Gleeson, but there just has not been a single critics group urgency there at all to award him. Maybe this is the place that turns that tide. I don't know. But
For the record, he is my spoiler, because, like I said earlier, father-son Golden Globes on the same night. It's right there.
I actually see.
They also
him-
love him, by the way. I
Yeah,
mean, he got
they
in for the
really
Comey role.
like Brendan
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I could see it happening. Also, too, the fact that, like, Farrell got nominated for In Bruges and Gleason didn't, and you know, it's the collaboration one.
Pretty sure they both did.
No, I don't think he did.
I'm pretty
Did-
sure they were both
did they?
nominated
Maybe
together.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, let's do actress in a comedy. Leslie Manville for Mrs. Eris Goes to Paris. Margot Robbie for Babylon. Anya Taylor-Joy for The Menu. Emma Thompson for Good Luck to You, Leo Grant, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Dan.
So first of all, justice for Emma Thompson. I'm so glad that she at least got this nomination. She should be winning, but she won't.
Nope.
It's a very tough for me to choose between Michelle Yeoh and Margot Robbie because, again, like, they like their pretty young things. They like their star. They like making stars. They don't really care if you're already a star unless you're like a Meryl Streep or a Brad Pitt type person. Which is why I'm leaning towards Margot.
Okay.
It reminds me a lot of their past choices in this category, more so than Michelle Yeoh.
All right. Kevin?
I think it is definitely Michelle Yeoh. So that's where I'm at. She ticks a lot of boxes. This is actually her first time being nominated, even, I believe, which is wild, but that's an indictment on the entire award system in general, not just the Globes.
Amen.
So this is going to be a really beautiful moment for her, and I'm sure will be a lovely speech.
Erik, you agree?
Period.
Yeah, 100% what Kevin said. 100%.
Right. Sophia?
I also have Michelle Yeoh, and I do think, like, while the Globes likes their star-making moments, this is a star-making moment, right? Like, she is older than a lot of the other nominees, but she's, like, throughout the, the ceremony as a whole, but this will be turning her into a star and them getting to reward her first. Still.
Robbie's already a
because of
star.
the problems.
Yeah, Robbie's
she's already a star. Jeez.
Barbie,
I also
for
just
Christ's sake.
want
I mean,
Michelle to
kind
win,
of,
so.
but she's not
She's a
an
double
award-winning
Oscar-nominated
star.
actress.
She's going to be freaking Barbie, for Christ's sake.
Star.
All right? Like,
Yeah,
she's
but
a star.
But she
My-
still hasn't won anything big.
My spoiler is actually Anya Taylor-Joy for The Menu.
Yeah, that's kind of like
that's like the weird young person I feel like I could see them going for.
They did
on
give her-
I just feel like that
off-chance
performance
craziness.
isn't flashy enough.
they did
I feel
also give
like.
her already a Golden Globe for Queen's Gambit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So
they
it's-
did.
Oh, I live to
She
forget
wasn't,
the Queen's
she wasn't
Gambit.
competing against Kate Winslet at the time.
Yeah, that's why.
I think it's Michelle. Yeah, it's not even close. But I think Margot is the spoiler. I just feel like they want to reward her. She's never been nominated before. Like, them being first to this would be great for the televised events. Plus, also too, she might be the only Best Actress person giving a speech that night, depending on who you pick in the next category, and or in the category that we'll pick here in a little bit. But also too, it just feels like that's just another layup for it too. So, I don't think we really need to go over this category, but Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. Does anybody not have Colin Farrell winning this category?
I just would like to say that this is a beautiful category of men for me
Yes.
personally, and I love it so much.
Yep.
But yes, I have Colin Farrell.
It is a delightful category.
Yes.
And the fact that Farrell is like not even close to losing is insane. But here we are.
Actually, I think if anyone upsets him, it might be Daniel Craig.
yeah,
for Glass Onion.
that's my spoiler.
That's my
Mhm.
spoiler. Because, Benoit Blanc, So there you go.
And what?
Benoit
I do
Blanc?
love Diego
Even
Calva,
Benoit
though.
Blanc.
Benoit?
Benoit Blanc.
All right. Best Actress in a Drama. Kate Blanchett for Tar. Olivia Colman for Empire Light. Viola Davis, The Woman King. Ana de Armas for Blonde. And Michelle Williams for The Fablemans. I mean, I think this is Kate Blanchett in a walk. Even though she will not, most likely, from what I've read, she's not going to be there. But that was more late breaking than before the voting. She's not going to be there because the film is opening in London on Wednesday, I believe. So she'll be at the premiere there for that. But I still think, like, the movie got nominated in picture. If anyone's a spoiler, I think it's Michelle Williams, but it's it's Lydia frickin' Tarr. This movie is dominated every single. It's won the trifecta. She's the front runner for actress at this point. It ain't even close. If she loses, then it's like holy crap. But I don't see that happening.
Hear me out.
Oh god damn it.
Hear me out. The most Globes thing they could ever possibly
I don't know
do
what you're gonna do. This hurts.
is reward Ana de Armas, a hot young rising star, for playing a Hollywood icon / former Golden Globe winner / international sex symbol in a film that was far better received overseas than it was here in America.
You don't think though, because of narrative and what that film has, that they would not want to even come from a mile away from it?
Fuck not. when has these sorts of questions ever bothered the Golden Globes? Ever?
No, I think you're right, Dan. I think this is the better argument than the Robbie argument about anointing.
Yeah.
Because she hadn't won anything. She hasn't even.
This is where it would happen, and it would be the type of chaos that we've seen in the past from them. I think maybe we're seeing a little less of that now than we could have seen before. Although, like the Andre Day win was pretty chaotic. But
literally just recently.
Yeah, and that was very, very recent. I would be. She's not even my spoiler, but she's definitely on the back burner. Yeah.
So, Erik, do you have?
I have Blanchett and Williams as my spoiler.
All right, Sophia.
As one of the leaders of Tarmy, Tarnation, etc., I am going to pick my queen, Cate Blanchett here, playing Lydia Tarr. I feel like I've compared her to Daniel Day-Lewis since before I saw the movie, and it still feels like that type of performance during award season, frankly, to me. And I love that Michelle Yeoh is right there with her. I feel like we couldn't even ask for a better battle for best actress than between these two.
Literally
titans,
the actors on
right?
actors.
It's incredible. And I really will be happy, seriously, with either of them. But I feel like that's just how I see this race shaking out. It's Cate here, it's Michelle in comedy musical, and I'm happy with that. But if they go with chaos, it will be with Ana de Armas. I believe that. She's my number 2. Because if any group's going to do it, it's going to be this one. And
she just got BAFTA longlisted.
It's not that. I mean, everything with the movie, yes, but what she's doing in that movie and who she's playing and everything like that, that is just, it's everything that we know that these awards bodies to go for.
It is.
And the movie is not good.
No, it's fucking garbage.
She is as good as she could possibly be in it, and maybe even better. It is not a bad performance at all.
I'm just thinking about it right now. It would make me so angry.
She did the most that she could.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, I would be livid, Ryan. Are you serious?
I'm not saying that I
scream.
I know. I've been trying not to think about it for the last couple of weeks, but then I've been seeing people kind of not just Dan, but others starting to say, and I'm like. And then I saw the BAFTA long list. I'm like, please, God, don't do this.
I think she gets in at SAG too. So I don't know what else to say here.
And I will absolutely laugh if this prediction ends up coming true. But then I will be incredibly depressed immediately after because
I might turn off the show.
Come on.
I might turn off the show. That's how bad it might get. Kevin? How you say?
Well, if Ana de Armas wins, then Daniel Day-Lewis should come out dressed as Lydia Tarr and push her off the stage.
God damn right.
No, he should come out dressed as Arthur Miller, his wife Rebecca Miller's father.
Oh God.
And then push her off the stage.
and then push her off the stage.
Like she's that priest or whatever that one woman pushed off the stage.
I'm sorry, my Daniel Day-Lewis knowledge is just too deep.
Kevin,
too powerful. It's Kate, right? Like,
Yeah,
what are we
it
talking
is.
about
Yeah,
here? It's
yeah.
Kate.
We're
Like,
just,
I get, you know,
we're just
I
having
did
a
have
couple extra minutes for the
Yeah.
show. That's all we're doing, I think, at this
Yeah.
point.
I get the Ana de Armas thing. I did have a little bit of a spidey sense with that too. Like, oh God, like cynically, I'm fearing the worst. But yeah, it got into Best Picture. It's happening.
Yeah. Come on. What
Come
are
on.
we doing here? Actor in a drama: Austin Butler, Elvis; Brendan Fraser, The Whale; Hugh Jackman, The Son; Bill Nye, Living; Jeremy Pope, The Inspection. All right, Kevin, what do you have here?
Austin Butler. And I think it's a classic case of exactly what we've been talking about, which is anointing a star and being the first ones to do so. Because from what I've seen, I don't think critics have really given him a win yet.
He hasn't won
At
a
least
single
nothing big.
Best Actor.
There you go. I think that's a perfect thing for them. And Elvis is Golden Globes catnip right there. And that performance is impressive enough that it won't be embarrassing that he wins. So it's the perfect combination.
Erik.
I keep going back and forth.
Me too.
When I publish my predictions, I add Butler. This is an absolute no-win situation for the Globes. There's no matter if it's Fraser
Exactly.
or Butler, there is no winning for them at all. There's period. There's no way. Whoever they so I had Butler, and then I went in and changed it to Fraser yesterday morning, and I might change it back. I can't land on it. It is Struggle Bus 3000, and
I agree.
Because they both make perfect sense.
Mhm.
Butler is absolutely a perfect Globe winner and a non-embarrassing one. This is for all the reasons that you just mentioned. You guys just mentioned. But Fraser has gone quietly from a few critics wins, and while Colin Farrell's won everything, to now like a dozen. So he has built a backing that isn't going to feel performative.
Also, the movie's done well at the box office.
Yeah,
a little bit
that's.
too.
I mean, once we get into Oscars,
yeah, that helps
future
it.
Podcast for sure. I don't think that matters so much. The Globe.
No, I don't think but it helps in terms of visibility.
This is a nail biter more than any category. It really, to me.
Well, the reason why you're saying it is because this is the controversy I was talking about earlier that we were going to get to, which is if they award Austin Butler, good performance, very good performance, very deserving, but the headlines will read Brendan Fraser snubbed again by the Golden Globes.
I don't think they will.
Oh, I think they will.
And now,
I think they totally.
That's not how it's going to be. No headline is going to read like that.
I think they can avoid it,
but
honestly, if he loses. That's the scary part. Like, it's just nothing.
If they award him, he's not going to be there to give an acceptance speech.
Yeah.
And because I'm rightfully so.
And that's one of the reasons why you want him to win at your awards show, is to give another beautiful speech.
Exactly. Because like this might hurt. I'm not saying this. It's what we talked about a couple weeks ago. It hurts him from the standpoint of going out there like everybody else is right now and giving a big speech to help him in this 3-horse race for best actor right now. But obviously it is the right move for him to not go to that and not support that organization for what they did to him. So it is, like you said, Erik, it is a damn if you do, damn if you don't. And it'll be very fast. I mean, shoot, they could just end up not giving it to either one of them and just go Bill Nye.
Okay, well, that's not going to happen.
No, I mean, like they just go, screw it. I'm not going to give it to either one of them. That's not going to happen. But I know it's not. But what I'm just saying, I was like, yeah, they could just do that. But
Elvis is in Best Picture. The Whale has only that one nomination. So I am most likely going to change back to Butler. Yeah. By the time we are recording this, I
have Austin Butler winning this category. Yeah. And honestly,
and he'll be there.
He'll be there. And honestly, I don't think it's even that close. I really think I think because of the narrative, we're all kind of, but like director, picture, Fraser being the only thing in there, I think that's why it's over the top. Sophia?
Yeah, I have Butler. I think that earlier in the season, I thought, oh my gosh, like Colin Farrell's going to win Critics Awards, and then once we get to televised awards, Brendan Fraser is going to start winning, and that's just how it's going to be. But now I see it just a little bit differently because Elvis has international appeal in a way that I don't know why I wasn't anticipating in this way.
Yeah.
And across the board, like in different categories, it really has, I think, people really love this movie and are seeing it again and again and again. And to make a comparison to a way worse movie and a performance that is so much worse than this one, it's where that man started his run to beat Bradley Cooper. So I just I can see
not anybody else, just Bradley Cooper.
No, just Bradley Cooper. I think that, so I have Austin Butler winning here. I think the director nomination for Elvis, the picture nomination, he feels more like the type of winner that the Globes go with. If The Whale was a little bit stronger, maybe I could be swayed another way, but I also think maybe they will want to avoid anything that comes from Fraser winning, actually.
Yeah. Dan, last one to you. Who you got?
This is really only hard for me because, like Erik, I've sort of stuck with Fraser as the Oscar winner for ever. And it always, like Sophia said, felt like when we got to the televised awards is when he would really pick up steam and with the industry. That said, Austin Butler has literally everything you would look for in a Globe winner, especially and perhaps most importantly, a corresponding Best Picture and Best Director nomination.
Yeah, that's what it just comes down to.
I'm going with him this time around.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out for him. Best Picture, comedy or musical: Babylon, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Glass Onion, and Triangle of Sadness. I have Everything Everywhere All at Once winning this category. I honestly don't even think it's that close. Even though Banshee's got the most nominations, I just feel the momentum for that film it just feels like that for me. Sophia, how do you see it play now?
I also have Everything Everywhere All at Once, but if the Banshees of Inisherin did win here, I don't think that's the end of the road for Everything Everywhere All at Once, actually. Because I can see that, winning SAG Ensemble and picking up momentum sort of later on, or keeping that momentum in a different way. Like this group is so different than any other group that is going to vote throughout the season that will support Everything Everywhere All at Once. That being said, I'm sticking with Everything Everywhere All at Once here.
Everything.
I think it will win.
Yeah, I think the thing about this is like, it'll be interesting to see, because I think some of y'all have 3 acting wins and maybe and I have a director win for it, and then it wins picture for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Does it get sort of like the La La Land frontrunner treatment, or does it carry itself all the way, like like films of the last couple of years where it just rides a wave of momentum starting from here as well? Does it get any backlash for like, oh, this movie's winning everything, he won all those Globes? Or does it be like, yes, that's the movie we all picked? And also, too, I don't think it hurts either Banshees or Everything All at Once for losing this category, because I think it's still really close, and they're both going to have a bunch of winners on the night. Dan, how do you see who winning this category, basically?
I currently have Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay.
Winning.
All right. Kevin?
I have Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think just because Banshees has the most nominations doesn't mean it's automatically going to win. Cold Mountain got 8 nominations back in the day and only walked away with Renee Zellweger. So I just think Everything Everywhere just has a little more momentum at this point. So
Erik?
I'm going with Banshees. I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah.
Because I'm predicting Everything Everywhere to have 3 acting wins, which then I have Banshees winning
Screenplay and Farrell,
actor, picture, and that is a breakdown that I feel makes sense, more than something that's really close to a sweep. I think Everything Everywhere has 6 nominations.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 4 or 5 of that.
That's a lot.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah. But it's also been winning a lot,
No, for
so
sure.
far.
And Banshees has not, won a lot of Best Picture wins.
No, but it's winning like the right combos, like an
Yeah.
actor screenplay the entire way through. Like it's been, and it has won some. You know what I mean? So
I think Everything Everywhere winning here makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it
Completely
might
agree.
make more sense than the overestimation of Jamie Lee Curtis winning here.
yeah,
Which
Yeah.
feels like something that is both real and concocted at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Whereas it winning picture is a very logical choice.
Okay.
But I'm going with Banshees just a little bit.
Yeah.
Last-
It's the same, like
yeah.
it's a razor thin margin, but
Yeah.
that either of them will have over the other.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll hurt or
No.
particularly really help either one. I think it's still between those two. It's really close in the race. They're top tier contenders. Best drama, last category: Avatar: The Way of Water, Elvis, The Fablemans, Tar, and Top Gun: Maverick. Eric, what's winning?
So just in the last couple minutes, I edited my predictions and I put Butler back as the winner and Fraser as the spoiler. I think I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
But I am going with the Fablemans and Elvis as the spoiler, but
Mhm.
I can feel Elvis winning this.
Okay.
I really, really can.
Sophia, I think based off of what you were saying, Best Actor, you are picking Elvis, correct?
I am picking Elvis.
Okay.
I don't know. It just feels like the Globe's drama selection.
Yeah.
And I think there's more passion for Elvis than for the Fablemans right now. And
Those screenings have been nonsense.
I think with the Butler win, with Baz being my spoiler and director,
Yeah, you kind of have to go there.
I have to go with Elvis.
Yeah.
But the Fablemans is my second choice.
Dan?
So what?
Can't argue that at all. It's
Yeah, no, can't argue that. I have this category is I could see going down a lot of ways. They gave Avatar Best Picture 13 years ago. They like giving big blockbusters awards, so Avatar and Top Gun Maverick could both make sense. But I think those two are sort of like basically siphoning votes from each other. Like if you vote for one, that means you're not voting for the other one to win. So I'd have trouble seeing either of them winning. And Tar feels kind of like Power of the Dog did last year. It's that critical favorite that is just sort of sweeping the season, and I could potentially see that happening, but
I would love that.
But with only really seriously a potential Best Actress win to back it up, when you have Fablemans and Elvis, there feels a little shaky. So I do think it is between Fablemans and Elvis. And like I said earlier, I feel like this is where Fablemans asserts its middle of the road dominance over the season, as the one that most people can agree on and wins. Although I would not be surprised at all if it's Elvis. I just don't feel like Elvis is Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's not quite, no.
Yeah.
Kevin?
This one, I've really been kind of tearing my hair out trying to figure out which way this is going to go. Because at first, like when those nominations came out, it seemed like, Fableman's all the way, right? And now it's like, it could be any of them. It really could. I am kind of really entertaining the thought that it is just Top Gun Maverick, and it's just the movie everyone loved and watched, and they all agreed on it, and here we are. So there's that. There's Elvis, which is so Globesy. There's I landed on the Fablemans ultimately, even though I don't have it winning anything else, which has historically happened. I think Moonlight did that as well, only winning the Drama Globe. Yeah. So I think there's at least precedent there. I just feel like it is going to hold on as the sort of safer choice, as Dan was saying, that is middle of the road enough. And yeah, I do think that some of these flashier movies could sort of siphon votes off each other. So tentatively on the Fablemans right now.
I
Mm,
I agree with what Kevin was saying. A couple when these nominations came out, I was like, "Oh, it's the Fablemans. This is easy. We can just walk in the park." And I just don't feel that anymore. I just don't. The movie is underperformed, like I said, everywhere. You know, I don't think what would have been an easy win for Spielberg feels like now, you know, up in the air. It, you know, I don't, you know, it not landing any of in the supporting categories kind of hurts it a little bit too to try to get into that race. I think that the buzz for Elvis has been so strong. These industry screenings have been crazy. Now, does that mean that it's winning Best Picture at Oscars? No, because that just helped Butler. I mean, it helped Rami Malek get over the top last time, but it didn't necessarily mean that that film was going to win Best Picture, and it probably will win a bunch of craft categories and whatnot. But does it mean that it could push it over the top here? Sure. So I think it's going to. I think that Elvis is going to win this, sort of all like that. But my spoiler isn't the Fablemans. And I agree with the idea of they like blockbusters, but if they like blockbusters so much, they would have given like Mad Max Fury Road something or Inception. They don't love them that much, you know, in order for them to win all the time. So I think that Avatar and Top Gun, because Top Gun underperforming, not getting even like Cruise and actor, which a lot of people were stupidly predicting, you know, that didn't happen. So my runner-up is the actor winners that I have. And so I think that Butler pushes it over the top and wins. But if there is a spoiler to be had, I do think it's Tar. I think that movie has just overperformed everywhere. It has done spectacular this season, and it is proven both with critics and with all these guilds on the short lists or long lists or however you want to talk about these lists, that it is carrying weight with the people that matter the most. And it is much more of that lingering quality that it has to do. And the thing about it is with Tar is if you, unlike, you know, other films that we've seen in the past, if you love Cate Blanchett, you basically love that movie because she is in 99% of that movie. So it not making director is fine. It making screenplay in a very competitive race. It's fine.
I'm gonna poke a bubble in that. Because if you're not nominated for director, you're not winning Best Picture at the Globes.
That's the one thing that's holding you back.
Is the only recent exception, and that had huge extenuating circumstances. So no.
It's my runner-up. I'm picking Elvis. Well, it is. So deal with it.
He should have gotten in then.
Well, it didn't. But
Todd Field never felt like a director.
He might at Oscars,
at the Globes,
but he might at Oscars.
Yeah, but I'm Tar winning here would be incredible, but I just like I have to protect my heart and brain. I can't do it. I can't even put it at a runner-up.
No, but
I can see it in the way that like Power of the Dog won the trifecta last year. Like they went for it, and I did not think the Globes would go for Power of the Dog.
Yeah,
and they did
have director.
So if that's the new direction that this group is going in, I could potentially see Tar doing it. But I think in order to do that, I think it would have to win screenplay also, and not just Blanchett. And I don't see that happening.
That's why I have it as a runner-up.
As great as Tar winning the trifecta is, that's all that it's won.
Yeah.
So it's a very East Coast, West Coast movie.
It's a very critic, like
it is a critic's movie if there ever was one.
Man, I'm gonna run this tape back next week if Tar ends up winning. That's gonna be great. But but I have Elvis winning. I think it is that international film. It feels very much them. Also, to you know, it's a way to technically reward Baz without giving him director either. You know, so but yeah. That's our Globe picks. The Globes will be tomorrow at the time of this recording, so you'll see if we're all right or if we're all wrong, or if you're mourning the next day if Ana de Armas wins. Like the rest of us probably would be. Our
I
guest
will
Kevin,
laugh at everybody if that
it would be terrifying. It's probably going to happen now that I've said I made a joke about it. But Kevin, thank you so much for coming on here. Can you tell us all where we can find you and all your amazing work on the internet? And if you can, before you get out of here, give us a quick one thing that's going to happen at SAG that you think is going to might crazy happen, or maybe it's just like a pick that you're very confident about. One thing about SAG, because the nominations will be out on Thursday.
Yes. I have to look at my predictions for that. But
okay.
In the meantime, as I'm stalling for that, you could find me at Kevin_Jacobsen on Twitter. And, if you like hanging out with this gang, I've had everyone here on my podcast, and the runner-up is where we talk old Oscar races. So we're currently in the 60s right now. So
yes,
doing Best Actress, and it's been a blast. So yes, now I have to figure out what is my craziest SAG
or just your most
here.
Confident, either two.
I mean, that's two very different things.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I mean, you could have a really confident pick an ensemble or something over that maybe others don't have that,
Okay, well, I do have a bit of a. Is this No Guts, No Glory? I don't know at this point, but I'm just going for it and saying that SAG Ensemble nominee for Ensemble, Top Gun Maverick.
Hold your hand, hold my hand. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see it happening at this point. I can see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Erik, same drill.
You can find me at awardswatch.com and awards_watch on Twitter, and just AwardsWatch everywhere else. And like Kevin, that is my exact same No Guts, No Glory, maybe this really happening prediction. Top Gun in cast.
Way to be original. Good job.
It was already on my sheet.
It's too late. Kevin said it first. So
Kevin looked at my notes. What can I say?
Yeah, exactly. Sophia?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Sophia_Sim. I host my own podcast called Oscar Wild. We release episodes every Friday, getting into our Oscar contender series very soon once those nominees come out, going through every single category, which will be very fun. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Oscar Wild Pod. I also have reviews and interviews on awardswatch.com, so check those out as well. And my No Guts, No Glory pick is, drumroll please, in Best Supporting Actor, Tom Hanks for Elvis and Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse will be included.
Yeah, the snowman. The snowman.
I'm going with chaos.
Sophia, I love you so much.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
Oh, the snowman. Can't wait for that. Dan, same drill.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as long as it's around at Dance and Dan on Film. You can find me elsewhere on Post and Letterboxd at Dance and Dan. And I other than Eddie Redmayne in supporting actor at SAG, I'm telling you, watch out. He's gonna be there.
He's coming.
The thing that I am most toying around with right now as a sort of shot in the arm a film needs to get into the Best Picture 10 is I am thinking about Triangle of Sadness and Best Ensemble.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I have not known what to do with that movie since it premiered, because when it premiered, everybody loved it and all the festival screenings were insane, and then buzz has just been zero.
Mm-hmm.
But then it keeps showing up in random places that you kind of wouldn't expect it to. So I'm if it shows up in Best Ensemble, I'm gonna be like, okay, it's back in my Best Picture lineup then.
It should get a Best Stunt Ensemble nomination.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
Keep thrown around in that bathroom.
That would be amazing.
Also, Brian, did you want an ensemble specific No Guts, No
It
Glory?
didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Okay.
It just
I
it
was
didn't
like,
matter.
I totally went rogue with those guys.
No, that's fine. That's perfect. That's what we wanted. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find my work here at AwardsWatch, the playlist, and Session Film, a bunch of other places. Also, just really quick before I give mine, thank you, Kevin, once again for coming on. Does the best podcast on the planet. We absolutely love you, and we can't wait to have you back on again. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here with us and talking these crazy Golden Globes. I think that my No Guts, No Glory is Keke Palmer gets in for Nope in supporting actress. And I think that the ensemble that we all thought was going to ride the wave and get in and possibly even win gets snubbed. And I think Women Talking misses SAG Ensemble.
Oh.
And then it leads to it missing Best Picture completely. I think that it will be the SAG will put unfortunately the nail in that coffin for that wonderful film. And it will be one of the most head scratching things when we do the autopsy of this year, or when Kevin does the autopsy of this year on his show, that we look back and go, how did that movie not connect in the way that I think that we all think it should, or it could have. And it's really been sort of tragic there. Also, too, I could totally see a world where the Fabelmans misses SAG Ensemble, and it's that one contender of the big contenders that misses SAG Ensemble, and we're all really worried about it. That could even be Banshees too, to be honest with you, because there's usually one of those every single year now. It feels like that's like the big picture front, one of the front runners that misses out on SAG Ensemble, and then everybody freaks out, and then it's totally fine getting in. So could totally see that, and I kind of expect Glass Onion to sneak in there as the fun pick this year as well.
That's a pretty easy pick.
That's pretty easy. Maybe even the
I
woman,
mean, is
maybe
it
even
like
the Woman King.
Knives Out didn't get in?
Yeah.
I mean,
I have the Woman
and
King
everyone
and
thought
Glass
that was the
Onions.
most
Yeah.
obvious thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. And so, well, that's this week's episode. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about SAG nominations. We'll talk about some other stuff.
DGA and PGA.
DGA and
are all-
PGA. It's
SAG
all
nominations
next week.
are all
So
next week. So
it's
they're in
all
2
gonna be
days,
like-
the 11th and the 12th.
and it's like pre Sundance. So we're all going to try to, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. There's a ton of stuff to talk about next week. So until then, we will see you all next time.